And welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the NA Apprentice. The NA Apprentice, of course, season 2 of this year, Group D. I'm, of course, your host, Light VIP, and with me, I'm joined by my beautiful plushies. As always. I did promise maybe a co-caster today, tomorrow. Oh god, I will promise at least Asher tomorrow for our next broadcast, but today I will be alone here for the remainder of the NA Apprentice. And yeah, I'm pretty excited overall. I'm a little bit sad. I would have liked to have seen I definitely would have liked to have seen or at least had Asher here, because we have quite a number of Terran players ahead of us. Before I get too ahead of myself, speaking of, this is the NA Apprentice. If you are maybe unfamiliar, if this is your first time tuning in, this is basically GSL, but for the land of the Americas. You know, it is region locked to the Americas region. You got qualifiers, you have group stage 1, you have group stage 2, you have the playoff bracket, and then of course the grand finals. Goes all the way to the finals. So yeah, it's a pretty big league here for the Americas region. It's a great way to help support the scene itself, a scene that has been shrinking over time. There are some big players, of course, some big names in the Americas, like Scarlett, like Estrella, like nowadays Trigger, I would say as well. But, you know, below them, you know, when we talk about the top 20, top 32 players in NA, it is a scene that has been shrinking over time. But that's also why it's really great to see Sugar, great to see Apprentice Esports, you know, looking to support, looking to invest, looking to try and prop up the scene as best they can. They got a lot of love, they got a lot of passion for the land of the Americas. So thank you. Massive shout out to Apprentice Esports. Massive shout out to Sugar. Great guy. Very passionate individual, especially for the Americas region. And we have our group. We have the D Poppy. Let's go. Quickly switching our scenes over. These are our matches for tonight. Now, unfortunately, there is one walkover. Feels bad. The one TBT. Maybe it was a sign. Maybe that's why Asher was unavailable today. It's possible. But unfortunately, we're not going to be casting that TBT, and it is a shame. I do think that both Tavo and Disrespect are pretty comparable in skill. I would maybe give the edge to Tavito. It depends. Kind of depends what era of Tavo we're talking about. Or Tapo, even, as he is fondly referred to as. But yeah, it's a shame that they won't be facing off. I do think that would have been a really good, a really close TVT, and alas, we're going to be deprived of that. Unfortunately, they couldn't, or at least Tavo was unable to find a time to schedule the match, and Disrespect did get the walkover win. So Disrespect already starting off here with a 1-point advantage in this group. For those wondering, the players had a week. They had a week to organize and schedule their own matches, to play them out, and to submit the replays, and that is why this is a replay cast in the end. Of course, no one knows the actual result other than the players themselves, so yeah, we're here to experience this for the first time together. And oh boy, this does mean that our first matchup is going to be a PvP instead. I guess I should also go over the players themselves. We have Tavo, the Latin American representative, the Peruvian Terran player. You love to see him, is going to be there alongside Disrespect, the American Terran. A bit of an older school name, but has been pretty active recently, kind of like Creature. Creature is one of those players that kind of stepped away from the game for a while and then came back. Disrespect as well. I don't think he ever fully stepped away. Like, I think, you know, every couple of weeks, every couple of months he would show up. But it's really cool to see him just continuing to be active. He was competing, or he's been competing in the ESL Open Cups. He's been competing in the qualifiers for ESL Masters as well. And as a result, Disrespect, he is going to be vying for yeah, for a qualifying spot here. This is the other exciting thing about this group. I do think that for Group C, if you remember, we casted Group C a couple of days ago, and it was Creature, it was Eggs, and it was Hunter, as well as, oh god, I forget it, Jay, as well as Jay. And Hunter and Jay were the, like, up-and-comers, more, like, unknown players, and Eggs and Creature were the clear favorites, and Eggs and Creature did make it out. They were the favorites. There were some close matches though overall. Here, it's a bit of a different story. Here, I would say that Disrespect, PiLiPiLi, and Tavo are all relatively similar. Maybe PiLiPiLi is a higher caliber player, or he's a better known name. I do think he's more of a popular player because of his stream. But alas, I do think the three of them are comparable in skill, and Cognite is going to be the dark horse. So I do think that this is a little bit less clear cut. At least it would have been if we didn't have a walkover. God damn it. So Tavo's going to have to be punching up. He's going to have to win every single series moving on forward here if he wants to make it through. We'll see if he can. Of course, we do have Tavo, disrespect. PiLiPiLi used to be a big competitor. Nowadays is more of a streamer. He still does practice and play regularly on the ladder, and he does stream StarCraft, but less so is he like a full-time competitor, and he's not like looking to like improve, compete, and you know, vie for, you know, one of those top Protoss spots like Nina or Disc or Trigger, for example. But you know, he's still a strong player nonetheless. Cognite is more of a rising star. We haven't really seen too much of Cognite. I do think that he has maybe the most to prove, the least on the line. Like, he's again more of an underdog coming into this group, so I'm really curious to see what Cognite can bring to the table, as Cognite is going to be going up against PiLiPiLi here in the first matchup. Oh boy, going up against some very big names here, so I don't envy Cognite, but best of luck to him. We'll see if he can make these players work for it. Maybe we'll see if he even makes or even takes some series here and somehow causes an upset, especially with the first match. It's a PvP pot, and anything could happen. It's crazy. Protoss, StarCraft. Let's go, as we're gonna be jumping into this. Oh, I like these co-hosts. they're you know what, they're dependable. You know, they're always there for me. You know, whenever I'm down, whenever I'm smoging on the ladder, I'm losing to cannon rushes, I look over and the plushies, you know, they stand by. They're there for life, for better or for worse. They're beautiful. I shaking my head, Sander, shaking my head. But yes, we are diving into our first matchup here. It is going to be that PvP, and we'll see how this does unfold. Game 1 is going to be taking place on Ancient Cistern. Oh, let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the American Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Cognite. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing Genesis Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi. Here we go. It's been a hot minute since I've casted PiLiPiLi, I'll be honest. It's been quite some time. I want to say the last time I casted PiLiPiLi was maybe the last NA Apprentice. I don't think I was able to cover him in the ESL Masters qualifiers for the Americas region. I don't think I was able to cast him then. But I think maybe the last NA Apprentice. And even then, when I say the last NA Apprentice, it may have been like last year, maybe the year before that. So great to see PiLiPiLi once again. No, actually, I do remember. I think PiLiPiLi, he played like in an arcade show match last year in Atlanta. I remember that. that was something. I do recall that. We didn't need to talk about that. For those wondering, the final day of DreamHack Atlanta, before the finals, they actually had like they had like an exhibition match between European players and NA players, but they did it in like in arcade games, like mono battle and micro battles and all this stuff. It was very awkward. It was a lot of fun because of that, I guess. And PiLiPiLi was kind of like the ace for his team because he plays a lot of arcade maps on stream. Yeah, that's kind of what I think about now when I think of PiLiPiLi. As we're getting into this game, and so far nothing too crazy. We have double gate openers from both players, as to be expected here on Ancient Cistern. There is no ramp coming into the match. Oh, we do force a little bit of inefficient mining here from PiLiPiLi, so a nice little start for Cognite. But for the most part, we do have some mirrored builds here, but the openers are deferring. We see Cognite going for a Stalker Sentry. We see his opponent going for double Stalker instead. So Cognite going for a safer opener. With this, he's going to be staying on his side of the map. He has the ability to go for a hallucinated scout and figure out what PiLiPiLi is up to. Meanwhile, with 2 Stalkers, PiLiPiLi will have more firepower. He can be active, he can hunt down adepts, and he can move out across the map. That's exactly what he's looking to do. He's also going to be revealing his first 2 Stalkers here to this probe as well. There are some Protoss players that hide the 2 Stalkers, like they reveal 1, but they hide the 2nd. But it looks like PiLiPiLi is not too concerned with that. He is going to be hunting this down. We do see Cognite waiting on top of the ramp here. He does have high ground vision. He will shoot first, but he doesn't have as much firepower, so he's going to have to respect this. He's going to have to back off. Waiting for some more reinforcements. Again, because of the double Stalker opener, PiLiPiLi, he can just bully his opponent a little bit. He can lay siege when the natural is, gonna force a cancel on that shield battery as well. Forces the Guardian shield and focuses down the high energy sentry as well. Very good control out of PiLiPiLi. He doesn't get the sentry in the end, but it would have been massive if he did, because if he was able to get that sentry, there would be no hallucination scout. Speaking of, there's something to scout. We have delayed the Nexus. We're going to be going for a Stargate first for PiLiPiLi. Oracle going to be zooming across the map momentarily as well. And Cognite hasn't been able to scout because of the pressure of these Stalkers. Like, he's had to conserve his sentry energy. And there we go. We now have a Phoenix moving out. Oh. As that happens, the sentries are being focused on one after the other. 2 sentries do fall, and PiLiPiLi doesn't lose a single unit. Unfortunately for PiLiPiLi, the hallucination did still manage to get out across the map, and Cognite is going to be looking for that full scout. It's a little bit delayed though, and as a result, we haven't seen the Stargate yet. The Oracle is about to hit the main base, and there is no shield battery. Uh-oh. Cognite is not ready for this. He does confirm the tech. He confirms the opener. He's getting in position. Before that happens, the Oracle has arrived. At the same time, Stalkers are laying siege on the front base. No, no, no! Oh. Stasis Trap almost goes off, but does get focused out in time. As that happens, it was merely a distraction. That's a kill, not a cancel on the shield battery. That was another kill on the first shield battery as well. 3 probe kills, and PiLiPiLi is keeping the pressure up. Oh my god! Wait, we're going full NA, Papi. I mean, PiLiPiLi still has an expansion, don't get me wrong. He did go for a Twilight Council, but he delayed his blink in favor of a Dark Shrine. DT's Dark Templar are on the horizon with a proxy gateway, and Cognite doesn't have any form of detection. There's no Robo, there's no Stargate, there's no Forge. The Invisible Man may just end the game. On top of that, he's been losing sentries. Because sentries have been getting sniped, again, that means less and less energy to actually scout, to actually send out any kind of hallucination on the map. PiLiPiLi has just been in the driver's seat this entire time. Oracle's continuing to just keep Cognite busy, keep his attention at home, keep him away from scouting. There we go, another hallucination is moving out. But again, it's not going to see anything. It'll see the Twilight Council, but it'll see it researching like it's too late. The Dark Shrine is about to finish. And PiLiPiLi dives in with the Oracle. The Oracle dies, but PiLiPiLi, he just scouted the main. Like, he just confirmed the lack of tech, the lack of any way that this DT will ever be dealt with. So kind of worth it here for PiLiPiLi. Third base is on the way. Cognite is looking to try and get further ahead economically with a faster third. And that'd be great at all if he could, oh no. Not like this, Papi. DTs are being sent into the natural, into the main base. No detection. GG gets called, and PiLiPiLi takes game number 1. GG. That is sometimes how PvPs can go. Even amongst the best Protosses in the world. I've seen Hero, I've seen Classic die to singular DTs before. It happens. GG, well played. I was very unfortunate. For the most part, Cognite, like, it did seem like overall his build was quite efficient. Like, he was playing well for himself, but PiLiPiLi was the player to take the initiative, to just assert himself in this game on this map. And yeah, it was very decisive play out of PiLiPiLi. Takes game number 1, takes a lead in the series, and now we're going to be getting to game number 2. And very aggressive stuff out of PiLiPiLi in that first game. But I'm sure we're going to mix things up, and I'm sure Cognite will have the opportunity to be the aggressor himself in game number 2. So getting into this and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gress Farm, we have the American Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Cognite. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing Genesis Gaming, leading the series 1-0, one game away from advancing or from taking the series overall. It is a round robin group stage. It is PiLiPiLi. Boy. So again, PiLiPiLi was very in the face of Cognite last game, snowballing even off of his first two stalkers. Maybe I should have checked. Did PiLiPiLi lose any units? He lost his Oracle. Did he lose any stalkers? I don't. Maybe one. It was brutal. Oh god, his micros control was definitely a cut above Cognite, at least a little bit in game one. We'll see if Cognite can fight back here, as PiLiPiLi once again is setting up for a 2-gate opener, likewise so is Cognite. Again, when it comes to PvPs, the rule is if there's a ramp in your natural, you can go for a gate expand. If there's no ramp, just double gate 5. 2 gates, that is the rule, that is what is legal in PvP, decreed by the prophets themselves, by the Kala. But Max Pax is an abomination. He's an aberration. Shaking my head, Max Pax. he does his own thing because he's just that damn good. He's crazy, man. He's crazy. And now we get to play our favorite game. What 2 units are going to be coming out? Especially after what happened in game 1, I feel like we're going to see double Stalker from Cognite. I'm feeling double Stalker. PiLiPiLi, I'm feeling double Adept, but we'll see. Once the Cybercore finishes, we'll have our first 2 units of choice. What are we going to go for? And PiLiPiLi once again goes for the double Stalker. Ooh, Cognite once again goes for the Stalker Sentry. Bold move. Neither one of these players mixes things up. Going for the same 2 units. We'll see if Cognite can maybe have a bit of a better execution this time. And we'll see if he's going to be able to keep up with PiLiPiLi, or if we get a repeat of that last game. Ooh, PiLiPiLi also once again going for... This is the exact same build. He delays his natural base in favor of a faster Stargate for those Oracles. PiLiPiLi just mirrored builds, or doing the same thing 2 games in a row. Cognite does keep his probe hidden here towards the top right. This time it has been able to escape the grasp, the eyes of PiLiPiLi. Can of course make use of this later on, even just to scout, just to go back in, just to confirm if there's a 1 base all-in or not. And it looks like there will be a 1 base all-in, because that's a 3rd gateway on the way from PiLiPiLi. He is ramping up the aggression, and that means it's so important for Cognite to slip back in and to get a full scout. Across the map, we have our Stalker setup, we have our sentries as well. Hallucination zooming across the map. We do spot a pylon. That is already a tell. The probe doesn't make it into the main base, but the hallucination should get a full scout. And seeing this 3rd gateway is a tell that this is an all-in. As we have another pylon thrown down for PiLiPiLi as well at the front door of Cognite. We have a sentry, we have 3 sentries, we have force fields, we are about to have an overcharge, Robo is on the way, Immortals are crucial here to defend. Cognite needs to minimize his losses, he needs to buy time for that Immortal. As there's that proxy gateway, so it is that 4 gate all-in from PiLiPiLi. Oh, we already see the sentries taking a bit of a beating. Oh, one of the sentries almost going down as well. Again, Cognite, I'm concerned. We should have thrown down more shield batteries. Let's be real. Like, he saw the gateway. He saw the pylon. We need more shield batteries. We need to buy time. That first shield battery is already almost out of energy. Oh, boy. Momentarily, PiLiPiLi, he's going to hit critical mass, and he's going to be able to out-DPS that shield battery, even the overcharge as well. As long as he has enough Stalkers. Meanwhile, the Oracle dives on in. Gonna be trying to kill this Stalker, okay. Doesn't quite get it. There's the overcharge, 1 Stalker goes down. The 2nd Stalker barely does survive as well. The force fields are looking too bad here, and 3 Stalkers to PiLiPiLi are gonna be going down. Very nice Pigos for Cognite. A strong hold to start with. 2nd Oracle dives into the main, but we have a shield battery. Cognite does respond in time. The Immortal is looking a little bit exposed, does push forward. And it looks like Cognite is handling this quite well. He's losing a couple of Stalkers, but... Oh, he's losing the Sentry as well. He's bleeding out units, but PiLiPiLi has lost all of his momentum. He's only got 2 Stalkers remaining. This... Oh god. Stasis Trap did go off, but I don't think PiLiPiLi can end this anymore. Snowball has ended. We already have 1 Immortal. We don't have a 2nd Immortal on the way, which is a little bit concerning. Oh, and that Immortal is being focused out again. We only had 1 shield battery. No, the Immortal goes down. And there is... Oh my god, we get a massive Stasis Trap in the main base. Cognite, he doesn't have the economy to make another Immortal. Oh no. It was looking good. Initially, it was looking good, but it does feel like Cognite... Like, Cognite's been... He's making probes! He's crazy. Cognite is actually insane. Throughout this defense, instead of making shield batteries, he's been making workers. And I understand that you want to get further ahead. Now he throws down some shield batteries, but now it may just be too little too late. He's still able to hold on. Ah! Hey, Cognite is playing with fire right now. He's barely holding. Like, he's being so greedy in his defense, and he's kind of getting away with it. Oh, God. Yeah, I still think Cognite is in a pretty good position. As I say that, another massive Stasis Trap goes off on every single worker, basically every worker in the main base. And PiLiPiLi looks like, yeah, it's too much. GG gets called. Oh, my God. PiLiPiLi takes series 2-0. Cognite, he was doing so well, but he was so overconfident. Oh my god. He was making probes the entire time. Oh god. And at a certain point, like, you do want to probe up a little bit just because you want to make use of your Nexus at least, and that will help you in your defense. But like, with your money, you want to be throwing down shield batteries, you want to be throwing down maybe an extra gateway as well so you can keep up with the production of your opponent. Obviously though, as I say that, even if he was doing or going for these actions and you know, throwing down more defenses and all that stuff, it's possible that the Stasis Traps themselves were crippling him anyway, right? We saw 2 massive Stasis Traps, 2.5 massive Stasis Traps in the main base of Cognite. So as a result, even though he had a massive economic advantage, he couldn't actually make use of it. He didn't have the attention span to actually defend or to react in time back in his main base. GG. GG, well played. PiLiPiLi takes series 2-0, but that game too, that was a close one. That was a very close one that almost went in favor of Cognite. GG. GG, well played. Shout out to Cognite. Shout out to Cognite. Oh my god. Unfortunately, due to how the series did play out, we didn't really get to see Cognite's mid game, unfortunately. Like, that's my biggest disappointment, is I would have loved to have seen what Cognite is made of, like in a standard early game scenario, but it's a PvP. You know, standard early games, they're a rarity, especially in North America. And with that, that is our first series in the books. PiLiPiLi gets his first point on the board, and now he's going to be looking to maybe claim another. We have a pretty big matchup before us. Cognite is the dark horse, he is the underdog in the group, but the other players are pretty on par with each other, and I've been looking forward to this. It's going to be PiLiPiLi versus Tavo. Oh, let's go. El Tavito, papi, el Tavito. If you're unfamiliar, Tavo, he's a player that we're big fans of here on this channel. Fun fact, he was almost a Duckling. There's so much history with us and a lot of the Latin American players. For those wondering, we used to cast every single Latin American tournament, and there used to be a lot of them. I'm talking back in 2019, 2020, 2021. We would cast Sentimiento Latino every week. We'd cast Copa Hyperion every week. We casted Copa America, El Prisma. There's a couple of others. Oh my god, La Espira as well as Rebirth, of course, the Chilean tournament. There were so many events back in the day. The Latin American scene was thriving. And that is back when the CranKy Ducklings, we actually founded our pro team. And we still, of course, have a couple of pro players. We have Eric, for example. We have Ryu, who has since, you know, kind of stepped away from the game. But we also were looking to sign some of these up-and-coming Terrans. And there were 2 of them that rose up together It was Tavo and Neo. Two really good friends. They practiced a lot together. Basically joined at the hip, basically brothers. Two Peruvian Terrans. Inseparable. And at the time they were on Exxon together. They were on Exxon. Exxon later merged with Psystorm Gaming. And unfortunately we could only afford one of them. We could only afford one Duckling, one Terran Duckling, and we had to pick and choose, and we did end up going for Neo in the end. I felt so bad. I felt so bad like tearing them apart. Because they were teammates as well, like throughout their careers, until of course we did end up signing Neo, and Tavo ended up joining, if I recall correctly, he joined a couple of different teams. He stayed on Exxon for a while, and then I think he got picked up by Team Super, but that was much later as well. I have to go back and check, double check, but yeah. Since then, of course, Neo has graduated and he is a lawyer. Fun fact, he was in law school, and of course, studies come first. Neo is now just fighting the law. No, working for the law. Over in Chile. Meanwhile, we have Tavo, who has also been, of course, focusing on his studies, but he has also been continuing to compete and continuing to improve and play. And we'll see how he does here against PiLiPiLi in current era. I do think that the two of them are pretty comparable, and yeah, we'll see who comes out on top in this best of 3. Let's go. Let's go. Shield batteries don't mind minerals. True. What a game, Papi, what a game. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern. We have the Peruvian Terran player representing Exeritus Ignat. It is Tavo. That is a dark shadow under that planetary, or under that CC. That is a visual bug. What is going on? I've never seen that before. As spawning, it looks like there's like I almost said smudge patches, but there's like ash or like coal patches underneath like the afterburners of the it's spawning in the bottom left hand corner. We have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing Genesis Gaming, already taking down his previous opponent 2-0. It is PiLiPiLi. Unreleased skin, true. There's something about this fun fact, specifically on Ancient Cistern. Oh, as we're going for a proxy, let's go, Papi, let's go. Specifically on Ancient Cistern, the classic skins, it happens with the classic Nexus as well. If you guys want to look at some replays, there's a lot of visual bugs. I don't know why, but specifically on Ancient Cistern, it has to do with the lighting. It has to do with like where the lighting is positioned on this map by default. But the classic Nexus and the classic CC, like they're just like the shadows and like the brightness is just exaggerated. It's fine, you know, indie company, we can't patch it, don't worry about it. As we're getting into this, we have one Rax at home, we have one Rax proxied across the map. Tavo looking to be aggressive here. Is this going to be a proxy Marauder? It is! Let's go. I was curious because no Reapers were in production. Tech Lab is on the way. Marauders are on the horizon. This has been very popular, very trendy over the past couple of weeks. Clem has been doing this, Björn has been doing this, Maru has been doing this in a lot of TVPs, and this can hit quite hard, especially if it goes unscouted. So the goal here, Marauders, we move in with 2, maybe 3. We pull a couple of SCVs, we can throw down a bunker, and Marauders, they annihilate shield batteries, they annihilate pylons, they annihilate stalkers. Like, they can snowball very quickly out of control. This used to be much more meta a couple of seasons ago. I bring this up all the time, but back in the 2000 Atmospheres meta, or season, map pool, I should say, this was very prevalent, and then it died down. It died down for quite some time. I think players, they got a little bit too good at defending against it. But now it's really cool to see this kind of rise in popularity once again. The first bunker, though, is already cancelled. We have a second shield battery on the way. Tavo just showing his hand too soon. Oh, boy. And even though PiLiPiLi, even though he hasn't scattered this because of that bunker, he knows something is wrong. And there we go. He does spot the first Marauder. He's going to attempt to focus it down. Concussive Shell is done, so this Stalker is going to be focused. Shield Battery is going to be keeping it alive, and Marines are already falling. Oh, there's that overcharge. Again, I do feel like tavo, he just did pull the trigger too soon. Can he even get a Stalker? The answer is no. Yeah, PiLiPiLi, he's just shutting this down. The Marauders fall, the Marines as well. And tavo, he's transitioning. We have a CC on the way. He has recognized that he cannot end the game. He cannot kill PiLiPiLi. The Protoss was able to recognize what was happening in time and respond accordingly with the second. We even have a third shield battery on the way and a second pylon as well. So PiLiPiLi is taking this very seriously. And where do we go from here? tavo, he's going for a 3 racks. Very bold move. Stim is researching across the map. Hopefully this doesn't get found out. Hopefully this doesn't happen. As Stim is on the way, we have our... Oh my god, we're going for a 2-base all-in. We don't just have a 3rd racks on the way, we have a 4th racks on the way as well. Very committed stuff here out of tavo. With this, it's kind of like the Beyond 4X in TVZ, where we're going to be building up a very large Marine Marauder force, and we should be pushing without medevacs, which does mean that we have to be very conservative with our stim. We have to be very careful with how we engage, but we will have a lot of firepower. We'll see if tavo goes for that, or if he attempts to transition even further and wait for medevacs. I do think that won't be the wisest of choices, just because if we do that, it's just going to delay this push even longer, and PiLiPiLi, he's just going to get further and further ahead. He's already in a pretty good position. We have Blink on the way, we have 3 gates, 3rd base on the horizon as well, potentially. Like, tavo is on a timer. As here we go, Stalkers are in the midst of moving out. Still only 3 gates from Pili, so with this he can expand it. There we go, 3rd base is on the way. Thankfully for tavo, this 1 proxy racks doesn't get found out, and PiLiPiLi is going to face check here with his Stalkers. Ooh, he's going to lose 1, 2 Stalkers already. Blink isn't done, by the way. This is a bit of an anti-timing. Pili, he's going to lose everything. Every Stalker goes down. Blink finishes after every unit has fallen. The anti-timing was real. Ay, ay, ay. Pili was not expecting the army to be waiting for him on top of the ramp, and suddenly tavo is in an amazing position. Oh my god. What do we have left? This is the army. We have 3 Stalkers remaining for Pili. That is all we have. He gambled. It was such a risky move, but now is the time to move out for tavo. He doesn't have too much. He did lose a lot of Marauders. He was forced to stim, but he's looking to reinforce. We have more shield batteries on the way. Can Pili hold? Oh, he stims! No, he stims into more Marauders, and now once again, everything's going to be going down. PiLiPiLi, he misjudges once again. Ay, ay, ay. And that's it. That's his army. He's got 2 Stalkers left. We have an overcharge, but the shield battery is being focused down. The boys are being pulled. It looks like Pili is barely going to be able to hold on. Whew. The power of the overcharge. That was crazy. Shield battery on shield battery action. So tavo was focusing down the overcharged shield battery, but the other 2 shield batteries were focusing the shield battery that was being focused down. So they kept each other alive. Ay, ay, ay. Suddenly the pendulum swings in favor of PiLiPiLi. Suddenly he gets away with his 3rd base. He's getting further ahead economically. He may have lost a lot of units, but tavo also threw away his army, and as a result, PiLiPiLi, he's going to be able to saturate the space and recover. This game is crazy. Oh god. Behind this, we are transitioning. We have our factory on the way. We have our starport for medevacs. This is all being spotted, all being scattered by this one observer of Pili. This is such a shameless observer as well. Usually the Protoss player will have their observer off to the side, like in the dead space, just to be safe, just so it's unlikely that the Terran player will see it as well with their eyes. But Pili, he just plops it down in the middle of everything. He just doesn't care. Ay, ay, ay. The likelihood of tavo seeing this is much higher as a result. We'll see if he does go for the scan. We'll see if he spots it. Behind this, we have a third CC on the way. We are not going to be going for a 2-base all-in. And Tavo's just looking to be active. Now that he has his medevacs, he can go for drop play. He can afford to stim. Once again, he comes across the army. And, oh, he's a little bit late to react. And there we go. We do get that stim in the end. We're going to try and stutter step as best we can. Oof. But these chargers are bullying Tavo all the way back. And these are expensive losses. That's 2 Marauders going down. Medevac as well. Only for Marines, sorry, only for Zealots. At the same time, Zealots do warp into the main base, wreaking havoc in the mineral line. Getting a good chunk of SCVs, and yeah, PiLiPiLi, he's pulling Tavo apart. This is feeling very similar to PiLiPiLi versus Cognite. Another warp in. And after the early game, after throwing away so many units earlier, Tavo can't keep up. I do think that PiLiPiLi could have gotten a lot of damage done here in the main, but alas, he doesn't pull the trigger. He's waiting for reinforcements, and that is a lot of reinforcements. Again, even though PiLiPiLi's been losing a lot of units this game, his economy has been left untouched. The third base has been fully mining, fully operational for quite some time. With that economy, with that bank, he's just snowballing out of control. Zealots are being cleaned up, and this is a little bit mistimed for Pili. I do think that he could have maybe gone for, gone for an attack at the main and the natural at the same time. And there we go. There's that warp in. Looks like Pili was just waiting for that Immortals to show up as well. And it looks like Tavo's going to be able to take the fight here at the natural, but at the same time, once again, the Zealots, they wreak havoc in the main. Tavo, he's down to 34 SCVs. And hopefully he does lift, and there we go, he does lift those CCs. Depot's falling left and right. Behind this, Pili's working on the base, working on his splash damage. That one observer working out so well for him. Oh my god, all the mines up. And hopefully Tavo can piece 2 and 2 together. And yeah, there we go. Finally, the observer goes down. He's like, wait, how is he attacking my mines? What's going on? Did he scan? Oh, observer. Oh, I see. Does get it in the end. And now what's important here is that PiLiPiLi has, again, been throwing away a lot of units. Not the most efficient trades. He has been getting a lot of mines, but the Marines and the Marauders have been standing strong. And now, Tavo has the supply lead. He has the army advantage. He's pushing out across the map. We are working towards Colossi, but the first Colossus is still in production, still a ways off for Pili. As Tavo moves out across the map, ooh, another Zealot run by. It's going to be crippling the economy once again of Tavo, but he doesn't care. He's all in. It's all or nothing here for the Terran player. He pulls the boys. I didn't even notice. I was like, why aren't there any SCVs at home? Aha, I see. The boys have been pulled. The base has been broken, but we need more than just a third. We need to break the natural. We can't take this slope, Papi. We gotta go. But the first Colossus arrives. Oh! Looking a little bit exposed. Overcharge was used earlier. Zealots do a great job of tanking here for Pili. And it looks like Tavo, I don't think he has enough. Yeah, we got another warp in. He does get on top of the Immortals, which is great. He's trying to focus down that Colossus, but there's just too much Protoss. GG gets called. And Pili takes game number 1. Whew. GG. What a wild back and forth. We started off with Tavo going for a proxy Marauder, and it falls on its face. He shows his hand too soon, and it does 0 damage. And then PiLiPiLi counterattacks with like 9 Stalkers, and he hits like 10 seconds before blink, and he loses all of his Stalkers. and then Tavo counterattacks, and PiLiPiLi almost has nothing, but he has an overcharge and 3 shield batteries, and that's more than enough. And then Pili holds, and then Tavo throws. Mate. Very back and forth. Very back and forth. And that's what I want. That's what I want out of these two. You know, that's what I expect. Oh boy. But in the end, PiLiPiLi did take that first game, and now he's 1 game away from taking the series. It is a best of 3, of course. Tavo needs to fight back here and now. Let's go. Game 2 is going to be taking place on Near Humanity. Here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Neo Humanity. We have the Peruvian Terran player representing Exeritus Ignat. It is Tavo. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing Genesis Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi. I need to calm down. I need to calm down after that game. This time, we do have our first tracks once again back at home, but this should just merely be a scouting SCV. Yeah, as it is rallied across the map. Going to be avoiding that first probe and, yeah, going to be trying to get whatever scouting information you can. With the avoid of this probe, by the way, I think Tavo is going to be able to NG block. I think he can throw down that engineering bay, but we'll see what he does go for. As the probe is just getting across the map to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Very wise choice, especially considering that Tavo did proxy last game, so Pili, I'm sure, a little bit paranoid. Meanwhile, the eBay has begun, but Pili is quick to check, and with this probe, this engineering bay shouldn't get too much progress done. For those wondering, if Pili didn't send down this probe prematurely, and if this eBay got up to like 70-80% done, which it is getting there, by the way, Pili may be forced to take the unnatural natural. Oh, he wasn't able to delay this in time. Back at home, Tavo goes for the full wall-off as well, so Pili doesn't know about the Rax Expand setup. This should be for a CC on the high ground or even the low ground. Oh no, oh my god. We're actually going for a factory instead. Now, Pili is forced to chrono out a Zealot, and it looks like he doesn't want to get a base at a really unorthodox location. He's going to be delaying his Nexus here in favor of getting it at his natural base, and yeah, eventually he'll be forcing a cancel here at this eBay. And it should be canceled. It should be canceled. It's out. Oh. That was like one swipe away, Papi. that was uncomfortably close. But yes, Tavo does cancel in time, and Pili does eventually expand. There we go. Beautiful. Now, with the prioritization of this factory, I think we're going for a proxy starport. Again, it was a very unusual, or typically when we only open with one gas, we do have a faster CC, or we get additional Rexes. Oh! As the probe is looking to slip in, and Pili does get a scout off. Pili does get eyes on the CC. He also sees that it's delayed, and he sees that we did have a factory first. And there's that proxy starport. So this is looking like a Hellion drop. Hellions are on the way, we make a medevac, and we can load in and drop into the main and wreak havoc in the mineral line. Either that, or it could also be a proxy Liberator with a similar idea, where the Liberator goes into the main, and then the Hellions rush into the natural, or also the main, just for economic damage. Based on the location, this is looking like a medevac, but we'll see. We'll see what he goes for. As back at home, PiLiPiLi is just getting ready. We do have a Twilight Council Blink opener. Pretty standard stuff, just like that previous game. But he still doesn't quite know what's going on. Even though he saw the factory first, he should be getting ready for at least Hellions, but he doesn't quite have anything in the main base. And there we go, the medevac is on the way. We are going for the Hellion drop. And that means that this wall doesn't quite matter. But PiLiPiLi, he's ready for it. He goes for a full wall off here at the natural, which means he doesn't need any units here to defend, and his Stalkers are lying in wait in the main. So PiLiPiLi was able to piece it together based off of what he scouted. Really cool. Really cool to see. As the medevac comes in, PiLiPiLi is in position. He's trying to focus on these Hellions, but they do manage to get in. One Hellion goes down, but probes are being roasted. Oof. Shield battery is doing a lot here, though. We got 4 probes in total. Not quite worth it yet. We're gonna be getting maybe one more. The medevac goes down. Oof. The probes line up. They line up, but there's not enough firepower, both literally and figuratively. And yeah, PiLiPiLi, he handles that very well. Only 4 probes. 4 probes for 4 Hellions and a medevac. Well worth it for Pili. He's looking in a pretty damn good position. And I love that because he walled off here, he's mining out these minerals. He's mining out the gold mineral patches so he can expand here towards that linear third base instead. As I say that, he doesn't. He was starting to mine out these minerals. I think when the Hellions showed up, he mined the minerals. Then after they died, he pulled away. This is a 2-base all-in. That's 4 gates, in addition to the 2 that we already have. Sorry, the 3 that we already have. 7 gates blink all-in. PiLiPiLi wants to end the game one way or another. And Tavo, is he ready back at home? We have a tank at the natural. We have a tank in the main. Main is still looking a little bit more exposed. PiLiPiLi does have high ground vision with this observer. He does see, he does know. Oh boy. The SimCity here in the main base leaves much to be desired. I do think the main is a little bit more exposed. I'm sure PiLiPiLi knows that, and he's heading across the map as we speak. Observer just confirming. He's like, well, exactly how much do you have here to defend? I really do like the SimCity at the natural. I think it's really cool. Oh, the Raven shows up! Up! We get a lock on. And the observer will go down. As a result, PiLiPiLi is going to be a little bit in the dark as to the army rotation of Tavo, but he still has high ground vision with a backup observer with that prism. And he's going to blink straight to the main. Cyclone goes down, the Raven as well. The tank is looking very exposed, and oh my god, this is getting out of hand already. PiLiPiLi picking everything off, going for another massive warp into the main. He blinks on into the low ground as well. He gets the final tank. With the death of all these tanks, it looks like PiLiPiLi may just have too much. And Tavo just was not prepared whatsoever for the all-in. He didn't scatter. He didn't know that it was coming. The boys are being pulled, but one after the other, they're being focused down. And GG, well played, gets called. PiLiPiLi will take the series 2-0. GG. A pretty strong performance here from PiLiPiLi, but a very entertaining series nonetheless. Oh my god, I did enjoy myself. It was good. GG, well played. Pili does take it. Again, just really great scouting. Not just scouting, but also reactions as well from Pili. He was able to not just see the delayed CC and the faster factory, but he was able to accurately piece it together into a Hellion drop, and he responded so well to that. Really well done there by Pili. And with that, he's going to be taking a lead in this group. It's going to be in a pretty damn good position. And yeah, from here, we can actually take a bit of a moment here to catch up on what has been going on. And so we switch our scenes over. Bam! Here we go. All right. We are... Oh, that's not updated. There we go. We are halfway through. We are halfway through the group, and unfortunately, it's such a shame. I wish there wasn't a forfeit. I would have loved to have seen Tavo against Disrespect. If we saw that, maybe Tavo would have a chance, but with his loss here against PiLiPiLi as well, I think it is confirmed that he cannot make it out of the group. I think he is... Yeah, it's going to be difficult for that to happen. Meanwhile, we still have plenty more matches ahead of us. Disrespect still hasn't played. He did get a walkover over Tavo, but he still hasn't played against his Protoss opponent. So, as a result, PiLiPiLi may be on top of the group for now, but depending on how well Disrespect does, he can dethrone Pili in Group D. It can happen. Tavo, unfortunately, is out of contention, and it's a shame. It is a bit of a shame. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Big fan of Tavo, and thankfully we will still cast Tavo later on tonight in his series against Cognite. And again, Cognite is still a wild card as well. I know I've been focusing a lot on Disrespect, but no disrespect. Cognite is still a really potentially a contender here as well. I do think that his series against PiLiPiLi didn't tell us enough, right? Like, PiLiPiLi was hyper aggressive. He was just constantly in the face of Cognite, constantly disrupting his build and just making Cognite uncomfortable. if you weren't here for it, it concluded with a 1-base all-in. PiLiPiLi 1-base all-in, and Cognite almost held. Cognite, he was doing everything right, but just barely didn't have the reaction time to keep up with the aggression of Pili. And maybe against some of these Terran players, maybe Cognite can rise from the ashes. Maybe he can make it out of this group instead. It's definitely possible, definitely possible. So still, a multitude of different outcomes are available here for this group outside of Tavo making it through. That feels bad, man. Feels bad. Este tabito. But we are going to be going on a break. We're going to be going on a, now that we've reached the halfway mark. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have the second half of Group D for NA Apprentice. See you then. See you then. So, I'll take this moment to hydrate your hydras, drain your disruptors, and massage all your marines. I'll see you in 5 or so minutes. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those lovely duct tapes from times gone by, and I hope you're ready. Hope you're ready for some more lovely, beautiful NA StarCraft. Well, we're already halfway through Group D of the NA Apprentice of Season 2 of this year of 2023, and we still don't quite know how this group will shape out. I think we have confirmation that Pili will at least make it out of the group, but first or second place, we'll see. We'll see which way we end up going. I don't know if like the math can work out where maybe one of the other players, or if the other two excel, maybe they can knock him down. I don't think the math is quite there though for that. So yeah, we'll see how the others can do. We'll see if Cognite can show off and flex some of his skills here, because if you recall in the PvP against PiLiPiLi, Cognite, he couldn't really spread his wings. Like he was he was stuck as the defender and had a really hard time getting into the mid game. Well, the mid game was non-existent in that PvP, so we'll see how things will differ here in this PvT as we get into our third series of the night. Let's go. Also, did I mess up my gain? I sound louder than normal. Okay, we're good. And here we go, spawning. In the bottom left-hand corner of Altitude, we have the American Terran player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Disrespect. Not a doctor. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Cognite. Again, whether it was nerves or whether it was maybe a little bit of lack of experience, but Cognite did struggle a little bit against PiLiPiLi, even in the game where he was ahead, or Cognite, it looked like he was doing all the right moves, all the right things to defend against the all-in. Wasn't able to pull it off in the execution against PiLiPiLi, and we'll see if Cognite can redeem himself here against Disrespect. Likewise, Disrespect is a player that we haven't been able to cast recently. We haven't been able to cast him tonight. This is going to be his debut here for the NA Apprentice, for tonight at least, for tonight's broadcast. And we've seen quite a lot of him in the ESL Open Cups, in the ESL Open Cup Americas, for example, or the ESL Masters qualifiers, the DreamHack qualifiers. Disrespect, he's been around for quite some time. There's a reason why he's on Apprentice Esports as well, of course, being supported by the American scene, by Sugar. And as a result, coming into this, I would have said that he's one of the favorites to make it out of this group. But that's also where Cognite comes in. That's where I want to see what he has to offer. I want to see if he can go toe-to-toe with some of the stronger players in NA. Show me, Bobby, show me. For the time being, just doing a good job of being annoying. Cognite was able to confirm the Rax Expand from Disrespect, and he's going to be delaying the CC for as long as possible. And Disrespect actually goes for a Marine first, not a Reaper. Okay, interesting choice here. I mean, he's already going for an SCV scout anyway, and he confirms the Nexus on location, on the low ground. And with this reactor first as well, with this follow-up reactor, it almost looks like Disrespect wants to go into a bit of a 3 racks, but we'll see. As never mind. Oh, welcome to NA, Papi. I love it. we've had a lot of aggression today. We've had a lot of all-ins, 1-base all-ins, 2-base all-ins, a lot of proxies as well. Hey, we're going full NA. That's why, I don't know if you noticed, but the mascot, the logo of NA Apprentice, Mate, that's a clown nose. We're clowning, Bob. Let's go. Proxy factory. Are we gonna go for a proxy starport as well? Are we gonna proxy a tank? Show me what you got. Oh my god. Okay. Well, CC is of course revealed here to Cognite. It is on location on the low ground, and this adept is going to do the best he can to try and delay it. Oh, the shade actually sips into the main. Disrespect not quite paying attention. Is late to react, and the adept gets into the main. This is a massive scout, by the way. He confirms the lack of anything. The factory is missing the second, the third racks, the starport. The lack of production is a massive tell that something is wrong. Oh, so a bit of a blunder by Disrespect. Meanwhile, he is going for the proxy 1-1. He is proxying a tank! Oh my god! I haven't seen this in so long. I think the last person I saw do this was Diego, was Kellezer. He did this against Maru in a TVT, like last season in World Team League in WTL. But outside of that, I haven't seen this in a very long time. Oh boy, has the medevactors on the way to the tank as well. Cognite trying to figure out what's going on. Again, we're on altitude, the largest map in the map pool. There's so much map to scout. Hallucinations scouring the map as we speak. Comes across the Marines, doesn't make it into the main. How is Cognite responding? He's got a shield battery on the low ground. He's making a safety robo. I love it. With this robo, we should be getting an immortal. Immortals are great defensively here in PvTs. Blink on the way. We only have to get no shot. Are we setting up for an expand? No, we can't afford to. Bappy, we haven't seen anything. This is so risky. This is so greedy. The probe throws down the pylon. We're setting up for a third nexus, and we come across the proxy. Now Cognite knows what's going on, but this may just be too late. It was an observer first, not an immortal. It's not looking too good, Buffy. Not a good start here for the Protoss. Marines are moving out across the map as we speak. They have vanilla Marines. There's no sim, there's no combat shields, but we do have 2 tanks. And we need to keep this medevac alive. And there we go. The tanks do get landed. They will siege. And they're within range of the pylon. That's Nartosis pylon as well. The overcharge is not good enough. It goes down. The production is depowered. We have 1 gateway left here for Cognite. We can warp in 1 unit at a time. The boys are being pulled. The tanks are caught unsieged. 1 tank is going to be going down. The second will be focused down as well. The Marines are doing so much damage in the back line. As a GG gets called and Disrespect takes game number 1. Oh my god. Welcome to NA, Poppy. Let's go. Beautiful. That was actually beautiful. And yeah, with that, Disrespect, he takes the lead in the series, up 1-0. He needs one more game to take the series and to have a pretty good start here in this group. I feel so bad for Cognite. Every game, man, every game he's been getting all in, essentially. Both games against PiLiPiLi, game 1 against Disrespect. He just wants to play some StarCraft. He just wants to get into a 3-base economy. You know, that's all Cognite wants in life. Is it so much to ask? In NA, it is. It's too much, Pop. It's too much. Oh boy. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he can get a 3rd base up and running here in game number 3. As we load in to Gressvan. In the chat catch up. Proxy Minor Hellion, mate. Proxy Tank, mate. You gotta double down, bub. You gotta double down. Oh god. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have the American Terran player leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from taking the entire best of 3. The American Terran representing Apprentice Esports. It is Disrespect. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss representing Platinum Heroes. He's been trying desperately to get a 3rd base up and running, and he's been unable to. He's been denied at every turn. It is Cognite. This series seems to be the 5-minute side of average games of 5 to 15 minutes. You say this series? Every series so far. Like, I mean, I guess tavo versus PiLiPiLi was a little bit longer. You know, it was a little bit more fleshed out. But despite that, every game, like, we haven't had a macro game. We haven't had a single macro game so far tonight. It's just been hyper aggression all around. It's great. It's been a lot of fun. It's refreshing. It's definitely refreshing, just because especially when you cast so much of the ESL Open Cups, very often, you know, you get standard mid game to early game, especially in the PVZs, for example. But it's been very high octane tonight, very high octane, and it's good because it's getting us all ready for Home Story Cup as well. Home Story Cup is in a couple of hours, and you know, this is a great way to start off the night. Oh, as a massive shout out to Steel Mold in the chat. Disrespect is setting up for a racked expand, by the way. Is a 1 gas opener, so he's going to be throwing down his CC. There you go, economic opener from Disrespect. But a shout out to Steel Mold, one of the founding members of the CranKy Ducklings. Steek has been here since almost the very beginning, and has subscribed for 55 months, 14 more months away from 69. That's crazy. That's crazy. Thank you, man. Thank you. I miss the puppet. I hope the puppet is doing well, Steel. Hope you're taking care of him. Hope you're brushing him whenever you can. Keeping his hair maintained. His fur maintained, sorry. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. As we are getting into this back at home, a gate expand. So standard opener from Cognite. Likewise, Disrespect. Very economic opener as well. This is maybe the most standard opener we've seen all night. There you go. I mean, maybe maybe on Neo Humanity, tavo versus even tavo versus PiLi was a more of a quirky opener. But for the time being, everything is back at home. Feels good, man. Feels good. Marines move out. They do catch the Adept that attempts to move up this ramp, and a lot of damage is already going to be done. So a good start here for Disrespect. Adept doesn't commit to the shade either. So the natural base of Disrespect is well under control, and Cognite is going for a Twilight Council opener. Should be for Blink, and we'll see how many gates are thrown down. It could be a 2-gate opener into a faster third Nexus, which is what Cognite attempted to do on Altitude, or it could be a 3-gate opener for some more aggression. It could be a 4-gate opener for just a more committed, almost borderline all-in with Blink Stalkers. We shall see. As Hallucination is being sent out, and it looks like Cognite wants to go. He wants that third. It is going to be the 2-gate opener into the third base. So again, a very macro oriented, very economic by Cognite. And there we go. There we go. The third Nexus is thrown down. He wants to macro, but this is what he's been trying to do all day today. He just wants to macro. Much love, much love. We'll see if he can. He hasn't been able to mine. He's gotten a third base before. Remember, against PiLi, he got his third, but he wasn't able to mine from it. Wasn't able to. We'll see if he can. As Disrespect is setting up for a mine drop. Reaper on the way. Interesting. I wonder if that's a misclick. But outside of that, pretty standard setup here. It's going to be a 3-1-1 off of 2 bases, which is, you know, nothing too really out of the norm here for Disrespect. Just working on his bio army, eventually going to be working on his tanks. Oh, and we could even see, we should be seeing an add-on swap as well, as the first mines are sent across the map. Again, it's only 2 mines. This isn't really committed. This is designed to maybe get 2 probes and get a full scout of the main. If we get any more than that, then that will be a bit of a bonus here for Disrespect. Hopefully Cognite can react in time. We'll see if he can. Reaper is going to be distracting the army. Does get confirmation of the location of these Stalkers. Meanwhile, the drop comes in and up. The reaction. No. Oh, as the Reaper distracted the Stalkers, 10 probes go down here at the natural. Well worth it for Disrespect. Again, these 2 Widow Mines, they're not really meant to do too much damage. Typically, the Protoss player will be able to pull away in time and only lose a single probe to each mine. But a great start here by Disrespect. Oh boy. As he's amassing his army, and he is going to be working with a lot of Marauders as well. This is something that a lot of Terran players have been doing recently. This bio-heavy composition, this Marauder-heavy composition packs quite a punch. It's very robust, very solid, very terrifying. You see the beginnings of that already. Meanwhile, Cognite just gonna try and resaturate his bases, try to catch back up in the economy. We do have a gateway explosion behind this, charge on the way, Immortals as well. This Immortal to me says that he's a little bit scared. The Cognite is playing afraid of his opponent, and I don't blame him, especially after the series that we've had and after the damage that he sustained. Typically we want to skip these Immortals, but we make them if we feel like, you know, if we feel like a push is coming and we need units to defend. Immortals don't scale amazingly into the mid game, is what I'm trying to say. As the Stalkers are moving out, and they're going to be able to catch the army here of Disrespect. Forces a recall as well. Oh, Cognite a little bit out of position. Charge is about to finish up though, and he should have enough here to hold on, especially with these force fields. And there we go. Disrespect, his army does get cut up. With the shield battery, with the overcharge as well, Cognite should be perfectly fine. Should be perfectly fine. Did we overcharge already? Oh, we don't have energy. Uh-oh. Oh, we don't have energy for the overcharge. Mine shot goes off. We get another 13 probes as the Widow Mines, they did slip into the natural base at the same time. Aye. Damage was done. I mean, Cognite does hold on to his main army at least. Ooh. Takes another mine to the face. But once again, the economy of Cognite gets crippled. And this may just force a reaction out of him. Back at home, Disrespect getting his third base up on location. Very greedy move here from Disrespect, but he's getting away with it. We have a bunker on the way. We're getting up towards Ghosts. No tanks. We're even prematurely making Vikings. Just getting ready for eventual Colossi. A little bit too soon, as the bay isn't even done for Cognite, but, you know, Disrespect, he's getting ready for it. The Vikings are on the way. And yeah, Cognite is just trying to be as active as he can with these Stalkers. His goal here is to just keep Disrespect back at home, pick off whatever he can, and expand behind it. But again, Cognite does have a lot of catching up to do. Ooh, good pickups. Does get one Marauder. Going to be able to get a second. And blink the hell out of there without losing a single Stalker. So nice moves here out of Cognite. A good start, but that is merely a start. We still need a little bit more. Picking up some medevacs, maybe denying the fourth base, getting a ghost up. Oh, nice blink. Once again, avoids the mine, takes that down. But the main army of Disrespect is going to be moving on forward. And what do we have at home to defend? We're about to have one Colossus. When it does come out, no extended thermal lance. It only just now started. This is a late transition into splash damage, a late Colossus. We've even got a boy. Hello, SCV. Got a random SCV in the main army as well. The Vikings arrive. There's nothing for the Vikings to do. Once again, we force another recall from those Stalkers. The force fields are looking good. But the Colossus comes out and it goes down almost instantly. Does take down all the Vikings, but the Marines, the Marauders, they stim on forward. Shield battery goes down. The overcharge runs out. And there's not enough on the ground. There's not enough Protoss. GG gets called, and Disrespect will take the series 2-0. GG. Again, Cognite just stumbling into the mid game. Unfortunately, the mines were working wonders here for Disrespect twice. Initially, with his initial mine jump, of course, and then later on when he was distracting the army at the third base, he slipped in, and I didn't even notice it. Like, I was focusing on the main fight as well. Wasn't quite aware that Disrespect was slipping in another mine drop into the natural base, and yeah, time and time again, the mines just got an insane amount of damage. Just, yeah, crippling Cognite before he could really stand up, before he could really get going. And that was just really solid play out of Disrespect. GG, well played. Ooh. Oh boy. With that, Cognite has had a really rough start here. He hasn't taken a map, he hasn't taken a series, and we'll see how that continues here. There isn't as much weight behind this next series. We're going to be jumping into Tavo versus Cognite. Basically, we're going to be determining who comes out last in this group and who comes out third. Who's third, who's fourth, Who is it going to be? We're going to be having the opportunity for both of these players to shine and for both of them to finally take a map and take a series. Let's go. Meanwhile, Disrespect is now tied. I believe he is now tied with PiLiPiLi, 2 wins apiece. And we're going to be ending the night with Pili versus Disrespect to see which one of them takes first place and which one takes second. We have kind of divided up the group, and now it's clear which 2 will advance and which 2 will fall. But in what placing, we don't know quite yet. Not yet. Can we get a word from the co-host on how the tournament is shaping up? Aye, aye, aye. Where are my plushies right now? My plushies, they're in bed. They're smoging. They're smoging. I don't blame him. So I can tell. I can tell by the way the probe looks. That was mortifying. You know what? Look away. Look away if you're a Protoss. Look away if you're a probe. Because a lot of probes did die this game, and it feels bad, man. And I understand as well why the Zergling is smoging alongside the probe, and that's because there's no Zergs in this group. There's there's no Zergs and there's no probes. They're all gone, Papi. They're all gone. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. It's over, Papi. It's over. Well, we still have a couple of series left. We still have a couple of matches remaining, and here we go. Cognite versus tavo. Coming at you next. Oh my god, do we have a copy pasta in the chat? Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient System, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing Exeritus Ignat. It is tavo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. In the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Cognite. So I have to read this, or can I read this? Macro games are for people with no life. If you play a macro game, that means you've got nothing to do. Me, on the other hand, I cheese every game. I all in every game. If it's not over by 6 minutes, I leave. Is it because I'm unconfident in a macro game? Is it because I'm unable to play a macro game? No, not even close. I all in because I don't have time to play StarCraft. I've got meetings with my shareholders, with my wife, and my girlfriend. You've got meetings with your wife? You only have meetings with Protoss. Oh, true, true. Smoge, papi, smoge. Oh, as tavo, we saw this against PiLiPiLi. Oh, this is a little bit brutal. The eBay is about to finish up. I was a little bit distracted. We do have a Rax expand setup here from tavo, only a single gas. A lot of progress is made here on this engineering bay, and oh, the boys are being pulled. This is already doing a lot of damage here to Cognite. We do need that Zealot on the way as well. But there is no Zealot, so yeah, this is a pretty damn good start for tavo. A lot of lost mining time, a big delay here on the Nexus, and tavo should be able to cancel this eBay. Should. Is that SCV? Gonna be hiding here towards the top left-hand corner of the map. Once again, even though it was a 1 gas opener, we have a factory on the way. This is looking like another proxy starport. So tavo did this against PiLiPiLi, and Pili, if you recall, was able to probe scout, and Pili was able to react in time and completely shut down the Hellion drop. This time though, can Cognite do the same? Can he figure out what tavo is up to? Now, it did come down to that crucial moment. It was on Neo Humanity, if you recall, where the depot lowered and then the Adept was able to slip into the main base, did get eyes on the factory, did get eyes on the late CC, was able to confirm. This probe can do the same if we do go up this ramp, and it looks like we will. We get eyes on the factory, but we don't see the CC, so he could think it's a double gas opener. He could think that, yeah, it's a little bit that everything would be at home instead of something missing in the main. Oof. So I'm a little bit concerned here for Cognite, not gonna lie. As he's going for a robo opener? Okay. Bold move. This is very safe. A robot opener does give you very fast access to something like observers. It gives you fast access to immortals as well. Shield battery on the way in the main base. Cognite, yeah, he's terrified. He's terrified of what the hell tavo is up to, and he's just hunkering down back at home. We have a full wall off here at the natural with these whole position stalkers. We got a shield battery at the natural, shield battery in the main. The downside to this is that this does delay your Twilight Council, which means you have delayed blink. It means you have delayed map presence and delayed aggression. But here we go. The Hellions are getting ready for the drop. Medevac is on the way. Cognite does have some pretty good building placement to get eyes on all of this. But can he react in time? Can he keep up with these speedy boys with the cars as 2 more gates are thrown down? Hellions are revealed. The Stalkers are trying to keep up here, but the probes, do they line up? Up! Kind of. Wow, a pretty good split towards the end, but probes are starting to fall. We do pick up, we drop into the natural. Cognite quick to respond. Doesn't lose too much so far. 3 probes have gone down. But this is a lot of lost mining time. Lots of lost mining time. The Hellions are saved. They're forced into that medevac, into the corner of the map. Behind this, we're transitioning. We have our CC on the way. And this was okay for tavo as long as he doesn't lose the medevac. And he shouldn't. As he's looking for another couple of probes. He does get 1 for his troubles, but only 1 as he is being cleaned up. Hellions do fall. The medevac does get out of there. More importantly, tavo also sees everything. He confirms the 2-base play. He confirms the gateway count as well. This is 4 gates with a robo. Oh, blink is very delayed. Yeah, because of all the chaos, because of all the lost mining time, because he had to keep up with the Hellions, this is a very late blink from Cognite. So he can't be as active as he would have liked to have been. I do think that he should be going for a 3rd base from here. I don't think he wanted to take a 3rd. Like, with 4 gates, like, this is typically very aggressive. Like, this is a very... there's a lot dedicated here to the production of Cognite. But, yeah, because he's missing his window with blink, he does go for that 3rd base instead. So, tavo didn't get an insane amount of damage, but he's in a pretty good position, all things considered. And we see Cognite just taking up even further. Blink isn't even done, and he's already got his Bay on the way and a Forge as well. So he's just trying to cut some corners to catch back up, to make up for his tech deficits. Where was the scan? I don't even... Oh, okay. I heard the scan. Looks like Observer did get picked off. Nicely done here by tavo, keeping his opponent in the dark. Behind this, I know we've been focusing a lot on Cognite, but tavo, what has he been up to? He's just setting up back at home. 3-1-1, 3 Raxes, 1 Starport, 1 Factory, 3rd CC on the way. Pretty standard setup overall. He will have a pretty strong timing though, because of this Raven. With said Raven, he can do one of 2 things. He can go for harass across the map, or he can use it with his main push. And even if you have 1, even if you have 2 Colossi, they mean nothing in the face of a Raven because of those disables. Well, a well-timed disable from this Raven can just straight up win you a game. Win you the game even. So Cognite has to be a little bit careful. He has to be very wary of the spellcasters of tavo. Back at home, he's getting the store base up and running, and we're calming down. We be chilling. We be chilling. We could get a macro game. Let's go. Let's go, Papi. As the Stalkers are in the midst of moving out. Going to be threatening the bases here. Observer does get sniped by that Raven. As a result, Cognite is going to have to work a little bit harder here to keep up with the rotations of tavo, to figure out where his army is. tavo is just setting up here for his 3rd base, and may even move out behind this. What do we have at home to defend? Oh my god, once again, a very delayed extended thermal lance. I'm shocked that it just now started. It looks like it did slip the mind of Cognite. First Colossi is out. We're forced to recall as well. Cognite aware that his third base is under threat. Tavo scans. He does see the army. Sees one Colossi, which isn't too terrifying. What is terrifying, though, is all those charge lots. We have quite a lot to support this army. So even if we did disable that Colossus, it's still quite threatening. Tavo is going to back off and just get his third base up and running. And yeah, Cognite, he's going to be able to get away with this third base. He's going to be allowed to finish up extended thermal lance. We have a second Colossus on the way. Soon we should be seeing a second Robo as well for double Colossus or double Disruptor production. Assuming that that's the direction that Cognite wants to go. As we did have a little bit of a pause. Thankfully, the issues were resolved. Shout out to Tavo and Cognite for waiting. Beautiful. And Tavo even gets eyes on the fourth. So again, Cognite, I mean, let's be real, this is just how Cognite has been trying to play the entire day. He's just been trying to macro, and finally, you know, we even have some decent map presence as well. We got pylons being spread out throughout the map. Great vision. Observer here towards the north, just in case a drop comes in. Fourth base on the way. Cognite, he just wants to macro, Papi, and he's finally able to do so. He can spread his wings, he can fly. And Tavo, what has he found himself in? Or can he deal with a Cognite that is allowed to play out his game? We shall see. We're going to be moving out with our main army. We do leave the tanks back at home just to defend, just to keep that third base safe and sound. Looks like we're just hunting down any kind of spotter units like Zealots or Stalkers. Hallucination dives in and gets eyes on the fourth base, the 4th CC building. And so far the army hasn't been spotted. Cognite doesn't see, he doesn't know. His army is out of position. He is distracted by the drop. He does get eyes on the mine drop on the right hand side. But I don't believe anything has seen the main army. Tavo has done a great job at sneaking on by, but there we go. Finally, the observer does get eyes on this. Oh, the army rotates over, but that does open up the mine drop. Up! Up! Do we have a reaction? We don't! Ooh. Good. That is 10 probe kills at the same time we dive on forward. There are the disables on both of those Colossi, but the Disruptor, the Nova goes off. Doesn't quite connect with too much. Does Tavo have enough? It looks like he barely doesn't. Overcharges popped, and yeah, Cognite is able to force Tavo back. I do think this was a bit of an ill-advised push here from Tavo, just because he knows he got scattered because he killed the observer. So he should have known that Cognite would have been in position. Oh, he's going to be bleeding out a lot of his units. He does have a decent amount of Vikings here. He was able to preserve them. But he bleeds out a lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders. A Zealot run-by is going to be running into a bunker, into a tank. Isn't going to find too much damage. As Tavo reinforces here on the front lines. We did kind of waste our opportunity as well with those Ravens. The Raven did die. No more disables. And here we go. Cognite is looking to lay siege upon this third base. Nova goes off, connecting with the Ghost. Oh my god. 2 massive connections. But the Vikings are putting in a lot of work. And Cognite does lose both of his Colossus. Is that going to be enough? It looks like the Bio Army does push back the Protoss. Not quite able to get on top of the Disruptors, but at least does reset the Colossus count. Does hold on to his third, and Tavo expands and takes his 4th base behind this. Overall, a decent trade there from Tavo. Looking at the units lost tab, he lost 2 Ghosts, a tank, and a good chunk of Marauders. Is going to be able to rebuild. Behind this, Cognite expanding, taking a 5th base. Continuing Disruptors. We have a Dark Shrine done. We have a Shadow Stride on the way. Blink for DTs. Oh boy, we're going old school. Of course, in the late game, a mass amount of DTs blinking on top of a planetary. It takes like 2 swipes and the planetary will die. DT run-bys, they were nerfed in the last patch months ago at this point, but still very effective. Oh, as the DTs have been spotted. Yeah, they're going to be completely cleaned up. And as a result, tavo, he's going to be throwing down turrets all over the place. Like, he now is aware that he has to be wary of DTs. So Cognite may be showing his hand a little bit too soon. We do have a lot of disruptors. This is insane. We have 7 disruptors, soon to be 9 disruptors for Cognite. That's a lot of firepower. Unfortunately, we see tavo is already transitioning and has teched up one step further. Liberators. Liberators are on the way, and Liberators are kind of the linchpin here. They are the counter to disruptors, to Colossi, to any of these robo-based units. With enough Liberators, you can bully the ground army. And typically, when you get enough Liberators, you do force a transition into Sky Toss. If we go that long. We shall see as rocks are being knocked down here in the center of the map. Triple drop gonna be scouting and also scouted by the Zealots. Uh-oh. tavo doesn't want to lose too much. The army of Cognite rotating over towards the 4th base. tavo doesn't have eyes on this until now. Oh, EMPs do connect. Novas go off and they will barely shave off some of those units. No big connections yet, but that's a lot of Protoss pushing up this ramp, and tavo wasn't ready for this. He has a triple drop across the map doing nothing. Oof. Once again, Nova's going off, overshooting a little bit. So again, not the best connections, but we get a handful of ghosts. That does make it worth it. At the same time, it looks like that triple drop did distract Cognite, did force the warp in, but isn't going to be able to break the 5th. 5th base is safe and sound. Cognite, even though we did lose a lot of Zealots, the disruptor count was preserved. 0 disruptors have died this game, and we already have 9. We're rebuilding those Colossi. Now, this is a very high-risk, high-reward army. Of course, at any moment, if tavo is able to close the gap and get on top of these disruptors, he can focus down every single one without losing too much. So very risky composition here from Cognite. Thankfully, that risk is soon to be alleviated by these Colossi. So they're on the way. Oh, a lot of EMPs do blanket the army of Cognite. The Stalkers, they blink on forward as well. A lot of Stalkers are going to be going down. Oh, even some friendly fire with the Disruptors. This is what I was talking about. No! The Disruptors are exposed. Oh, we could have kept going. We could have kept going, but half of the Disruptors do go down at the same time. The triple drop does dive into that 3rd base. Yeah, and we do have the target firing. We do have the DPS. Oof. We take a massive Nova to the face, but we killed 7 Disruptors. A massive loss for Cognite. He's been doing such a great job of preserving his units up until this point, and now suddenly tavo has a massive supply lead. And it's going to take so long. I don't think Cognite can ever get up to that high disruptor count. Not again. Not after what just happened. As tavo is about to max, and once he does, he's going to be moving out once again. Cognite was just having a hard time keeping up with the multi-prong aggression from tavo. That triple drop really did distract Cognite, and it allowed tavo to get so many of those disruptors in the end. And now Cognite has to do everything he can to just keep tavo back at home. We have a DT. 1 DT on the way. Let's go. Armies are about to clash. DT does force tavo to turn back around. Well, bearing in mind, Storm is done as well. We have all 3 forms of splash damage. We have Disruptors, Storm, and the Colossus. Liberators are able to siege up in time. Ooh, EMPs once again just blanket everything. Except for the High Templar, to be fair. They do have Storms available. But we did lose the buffer for this army. We lost all of the gateway units, the Stalkers, the Zealots. We don't have a lot to protect the Colossi or the Disruptors. As Liberators are harassing across the map. Nova goes up. Up. Oh, it does connect with those ghosts, but we need more than just 1 Nova. And it looks like, yeah, there's too much Terran on top of this ramp. An efficient trade, I think, from Cognite overall. Like, he's been getting some good value here with his Purification Novas. Some Ghosts, some Marauders. But he needs more. He needs to take one big fight. As he's looking for another angle of attack, the Liberator is out of position. tavo himself bit out of position. Tank goes down. Liberator as well for free. Oh, and a massive Nova goes off on the Marauders. Pretty good moment here for Cognite. But is it just a numbers game? It looks like tavo, he's running out of steam a little bit. Does lose far too many Marauders. And yeah, Cognite, he's been fighting well. Still hasn't closed the gap, but he's working on it. He is working on, but the Vikings are going uncontested. The Colossus go down. Only Disruptors and Stalkers remaining here for Cognite. And tavo, he wants to move out. He remaxes once again, and even the best Purification Novas, I don't think that's going to be enough here to stop tavo. They're going to help, don't get me wrong, but tavo is paying attention. Does scan, confirms the army. He's going to be looking to avoid it. Cognite has a lot of bases. He's got a decent economy behind this. But tavo, he's going to be able to rotate over and at least catch one of these bases. No shield batteries, no sack defense. The Vikings are dead supplied, to be fair. Oh, as once again the EMPs connect with almost everything. Oh my god, the dodge! Oh, but a massive Nova will connect. And tavo is being forced back. Again, he's got a lot of supply in Medivacs and Vikings. Can't really do too much. But here come the reinforcements. Just luring Cognite in. The splits are real. Nova connects towards the end, but those Disruptors are compromised. GG gets called, and tavo will take game number 1. Oh, GG. But Cognite, he had his moments. He definitely had his moments in this game. He was able to fight back. He was able to actually get into a longer macro game, get into the mid game, even towards the late game as well. GG. GG, well played. It was just the... It did feel just that the multi-prog aggression from tavo was just a little bit too much. Was just enough to distract Cognite from the main fight. And yeah, that was the moment. That was the moment where Cognite lost almost every Disruptor. It was the game-winning move for tavo, to be honest. The game-winning move was able to pull it off, and now we're going to be slipping into game number 2. Will this series end here and now, or will we go to the ace match? We're here to find out. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. This morning, in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressvan, we have the Peruvian Terran representing Exeritus Ignat, leading the series 1-0, one game away from taking his first series of the night. It is tavo. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the American Protoss. We have the dark horse of this group. Again, a little bit lesser known, but has been fighting his heart out here tonight. Representing Platinum Heroes, it is Cognite. Catching up the chat. We have all 3 forms of splash damage. You have Templar, Disruptors, and Colossi. Archon sitting ignored in the corners. Mate, what are Archons to ghosts, okay? As tavo is looking to be a little bit cheeky. He's setting up a proxy racks out on the map. Should be walling off back at home as well, keeping Cognite in the dark. And this Rax is a little bit far out here. I wonder if we're going to be going for the Proxy Marauder. We did see that earlier today against PiLiPiLi. If you recall, tavo did kind of show his hand a little bit too early on. As the probe does show up, does confirm at least the opener. Nothing here really screams the fact, though, that we have a Proxy out on the map. Yeah, as it looks like Proxy Marauder. Show us the tech lab. Show us the tech lab. As behind this, I love it, tavo, he's pretending to get in position to expand, to take a natural base. Tech lab is on the way, Marauders soon to be in production. And Cognite is none the wiser. Oh boy. Tavo, he's so cavalier. I'm not fond of this. The pylon's gonna finish up, and Cognite, he sees the bunker. Up until this point, Cognite had no idea what was happening, by the way, until now. Like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like how Tavo, he starts the bunker so prematurely. And there we go. The boys are being pulled. The bunker, it should not finish. As Marines are amassing across the map, Marauders on the way. The SCV comes back. Do we get a cancel? Oh, we do cancel just in time. And again, this did give Cognite a heads up as to what was going on. He's preparing mentally, physically, emotionally. Stalkers have arrived. Shield battery is done. Overcharge on the way as well. Oof. As the SCV does get focused down now, with good enough control here, we should be able to pick away at this army. But again, with that shield battery, I don't know if Tavo can ever really break through. He's gonna try to. He's trying to force the overcharge. Oh my god, as the first Marauder goes down. And this is kind of falling on its face, not gonna lie. Both Marauders fall, the Marines as well. Tavo gets completely cleaned up. He's got more Marauders on the way, but it does feel like Tavo has run out of steam. We didn't even need to use the overcharge. We're chronoing right now. That's how confident Cognite is. And yeah, Tavo has to transition. CC is on the way. Look, I need to speak to Tavito about this, okay? I need to send him some replays, Papi. I need to send him some replays. Shaking my head. As he's going for a similar follow-up. If you recall, in game 1, I think it was game 1 against PiLiPiLi, Tavo, after his failed proxy Marauder, he did go for a CC followed by 3 additional Raxes. It was a 4 Rax 2 base follow-up. And if you remember, it was really back and forth. PiLiPiLi almost lost that game. He almost lost against Tavo. It was really close just because of how unexpected the army of Tavo was. Like, PiLiPiLi really was not expecting to push up this ramp and have a mass amount of Marauders and Marines waiting for him. So we'll see if Tavo can make some magic happen here, as once again he throws down 3 more Raxes. It is going to be a 4 Rax setup here. Marines, Marauders, Stim, Combat Shields is going to be a very powerful timing here from Tavo. Meanwhile, Cognite is in the dark. Behind this is a Twilight Council opener into Blink. Fast Robo once again. And we can be quite aggressive from here. This time, Blink isn't really too heavily delayed. We can be quite assertive if Cognite, if he wishes to. And yeah, with that chrono, it looks like he does. I imagine we're going to be seeing a Prism once this Observer does finish. And Cognite can be active. No, he gets a second Observer. Never mind. But once these gateways finish up, he can be very active. He can be assertive. He can actually dance with the army and chip away at the Marines and the Marauders ahead of time. Ooh, as actually... Never mind. He's taking up even further. This is exactly what Cognite did in Game 1 on Ancient Cistern. This may just be how he plays. Because again, typically like 4-gate Blink, even though it's delayed, typically this is aggression from the Protoss, but he's taking up behind this, so it looks like he wants to be more defensive instead. Interesting. Let's see, we go. Tavo is moving out. What do we have to work with? We have 6 Marauders, 11 Marines. A lot of Stalkers are ready for this, though. He could maybe get a snipe on this 3rd base. Oh, does get a kill on the pylon, does cancel the 3rd, and no kill. Because of the sheer amount of Stalkers we have, it looks like Tavo won't be able to break into the natural. Oh, he stims! He seems he's going to try and focus on whatever he can. Overcharge is pop. We get 1, 2, 3 Stalkers. Barely we can get a 4th. Can we get a 5th? Barely get a 5th Stalker in total. So it's an okay trade. Do you think that was a bit of a larger investment from Tavo, though? As his army does get cleaned up. Did delay the 3rd, I guess, but behind this, Cognite, he doesn't care. He's getting into Colossi, working on +1, soon to be extended Thermal Lance as well. Cognite now has the map control. And yeah, he's looking to chip away at tavo, pick off whatever he can, just contain him onto 2 bases. As is that a 5th Rax? That's a 5th. That's a 5th Rax. Oh my god. This is looking like a 2-base all-in. Unless I'm mistaken, yeah, there is no 3rd CC from tavo. Oh boy. +1 is on the horizon. And when I say 2-base all-in, this is looking like we're going to pull the boys. We'll see, we'll see. We'll see if he does end up throwing down another base. For the time being, though, Cognite is just, again, dancing with the army, picking off whatever he can, bullying these Marines. Without tanks, these Stalkers don't really have too much to be afraid of. They even force out a stim as well. Okay, there we go. 3rd CC is on the way. So tavo isn't going to be going for an all-in. Just chilling, Chilean, Peruvian even. As we're kind of getting into, once again, a longer macro game. A game I'm sure Cognite is happy to play out. He's already got 2 Colossi, he's going to have 4 momentarily. Ay, ay, ay. And then we can start Disruptors. Yeah, it does feel like tavo is playing pretty heavily from behind. That's the problem, right? Like, he's down 20 workers, he's down a base. That's why I assumed that he would be going for an all-in, especially with the 5th Rax. But, nah, we're good. We're gonna try and turtle instead. And best of luck to tavo. We'll see if he can. He's gonna try and slowly take a 3rd base. Slowly take a 4th. As a result, he's going to be giving Cognite so much map control, so much map presence. Pylons are being thrown down as we speak. Now, there is a double drop being sent out, but alas, it is being scattered, so we're going to get a pylon and not too much else. Thankfully, no Blink Stalkers with this army, but we do get eyes on the Colossi. So tavo is aware of how terrifying the army is looking here for Cognite. Oh boy. Yeah, tavo scans. He sees the saturation on the 3rd base as he just barely takes his own. So it's not going to be a good feeling here as the 4th is on the way. And yeah, tavo, he just has to be ready to receive. Got a decent spread here of tanks and Marines and Marauders. We could do with some bunkers. That's probably the biggest thing we're lacking here. Bunkers, depots, SimCity. This is pretty wide open, which is amazing for charge lots. They can run free here in these wide open spaces. Yeah, Cognite is getting ready to lay siege upon the bases of tavo. He's going to try and hold on. Tanks are exposed. The first one goes down instantly, and the Colossi are raining down upon everything else. There's just too much Protoss. And Cognite, he's looking to take his first game. Marauders, they come in from behind and they're gonna... no. They're not even gonna get a Colossus. GG gets called. And Cognite forces the ace match. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. We are going all the way. All the way to game number 3. If I'm not wrong, I believe this is the first ace match of the night. We've been having nothing but 2-0s, nothing but 2-0s the entire night. But alas, that changes. That changes here and now. Oh my god, and this is going to be an interesting one. The ace match is going to be taking place on altitude. Let's go. And I hope tavo doesn't proxy Marauder again. I don't know, I feel like the execution of tavo's, like, we've seen it twice so far. We saw it against PiLiPiLi, we saw it against Cognite. I think it's just really, yeah, it feels a little bit unrefined. So, we'll see. We'll see if we get it again. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of altitude, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing Exeritus Ignat. Oh, dropping that last game, being forced into the ace match. It is tavo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Cognite. Who won the last set? The last set was Disrespect taking down Cognite 2-0. If you were curious. We can go over the bracket after this if you wish. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, we're on Altitude, the largest map in the map pool. Doesn't get any bigger than this. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned here for tavo. I do think that Cognite, again, based on what we've seen so far throughout this series, he's a very safe player overall, and he wants to get into a macro game. He wants to saturate his third. He wants to work towards his fourth. He wants to get into the mid game, and that's where he can really thrive. Tavo attempted to slow him down in the last game, didn't quite work out for him. We'll see what he has in store for us here in game number 2. This time there is no proxy. This time there are no Raxes out on the map. We should be setting up for a Rax expand here for tavo. There we go. CC is going to be thrown down on location, and Cognite won't be able to delay it. So economic starts here from both players. And we'll see how this does unfold. Now again, there are a lot of features of Altitude other than the fact that it's very large. I mean, I guess there are gold bases. That probably won't come into play in this matchup, I'll be honest, but you know, they're there. So something to bear in mind. It is very large and open in the center of the map as well, so it can be sometimes difficult to move out unscouted, and it can be really scary to take a fight in the middle of the map as well, just because of all the high ground, all the different elevations in the map. Does mean that if you're playing a tank heavy style, if you're a Terran player, you can take full advantage of that, and you can have some really solid engagements as a result. Likewise, the bases are spread out, so drop play is amazing, especially once we get up to 4 bases. Tavo can definitely use that to his advantage to pull apart Cognite, to pull apart his opponent by, you know, hitting the third, hitting the fourth, going for all that multi-prong aggression. We'll see what tavo has in store for us. Again, he's more of a bio player. He has dabbled in mech, but against Protoss, mech isn't too much of a thing. I know Special does it, and I believe Neo used to do it as well, but tavo, not so much. Not so much. I think there was a moment where it was trendy to go for magfield accelerators and play around with cyclones, but that trend didn't last too long. As Cognite is going for a Twilight Council opener once again. Oh, and tavo does see that as well. Twilight Council was thrown down a little bit too close to the edge here, so tavo gets eyes on it. He knows that there's no like Phoenix Colossus coming out or anything like that. And I'm curious to see how Cognite opens up. He should be going for a 2-gate opener into a third and Nexus, just because of the map itself. And there we go. Probe is on the way. He's going to be able to get away with, again, a very economic, very macro-focused build here from our Protoss. Again, you're only working with 2. Oh, never mind. He is only working with 2 gates, but he throws down 2 more. So this is looking like his like safe place. Cognite is setting up for a third, of course. But the last couple of PVTs, we've seen Cognite go for a 4-gate blink, not be aggressive, and throw down that bay and the forge behind it. So it is a little bit inefficient. Like it's not like the best way to make use of your initial buildings, because you're delaying your third base. You're not really making full use of all your gateways either. But it does feel like a very safe way to play things out. And I think Cognite is just more concerned with actually, you know, getting his third base up and running, and less so with being aggressive. There we go. Third base is thrown down before the bay and before the forge, to be fair, but after the additional gateways. So again, Cognite just making sure he has a little bit of extra production with him so he can warp in and be ready for any kind of push. Stalkers are in the midst of moving out. There's no prism, but they do have blink, so they can, of course, pick up whatever they can, maybe slip into the main. Back at home, we have a 3-1-1 setup from tavo. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too wild. I guess the only thing to take note of is that tavo didn't go for a Widowmine opener, so he's not going for any kind of drop play. Oh, the Stalkers, they get a little bit ambitious. Take a tank shot to the face. Aren't able to do too much. Hallucination is on the way, and we'll be able to just get an eye on all the production on what tavo exactly is up to. Even provide some high ground vision so that Cognite can blink into the main if he sees an opportunity. And he may want that Cyclone. Or he wants it, Puppy. He wants it! Up! Oh, Cyclone will go down. Oh, there's no tank in the main. There are plenty of Marines with Stim. We're going to be able to force this back. That's the other interesting thing here, is that because there were no mines, because we did prioritize the tech lab on the racks, we did actually get into a fast Stim. There we go, we're going to be zooming across the map. Meanwhile, Cognite, there's that Forge and the Bay to get into Colossi. He also made a safety immortal as well, just to help round out his army. I'm worried though, because he's being quite active out in the middle of the map, and he doesn't really have too much at home to defend. Oh my god, he's going for a double Forge, double upgrades, 2 at a time. Getting pretty greedy here, but you can get away with greed on altitude. It's okay. It's big, it's large. We'll see if he can. As the double drop is making its way towards the main base, the pylon is about to be thrown down, but it looks like a little bit too late. No, never mind. Oh, it's going to be close. Does the probe see it? It looks like it just barely will. A very fortunate scout here by Cognite. Does force a warp into the main. Does force a reaction. As Cognite sends a hallucination over in this direction just to get eyes on any kind of drop. Behind this, tavo working towards his third. So yeah, we've just been chilling once again. We have been building up towards this push, and we do have 3 tanks here with the main army. Tavo has done a decent job at just denying vision, but as I say that, the hallucination does come across the tanks, the move out. Cognite knows, and now he's getting ready here at his third. Bearing in mind, he also has controlled the Zelnaga as well, so yeah, tavo is having a hard time moving out without getting scouted. And yeah, as a result, Cognite, he's going to be able to get away with quite a lot. I believe he still has to work on his second robo. No, never mind. 2 robos are already done. We can soon get into disruptor production as well. And even work towards a 4th base. So yeah, like Cognite just taking full advantage of how passive tavo has been. Tavo at times was looking to be aggressive, but at every turn, Cognite has been able to keep eyes on him. And I think it's really wise of tavo to back off whenever he gets scouted. It's one of those things where he's heavily reliant on Cognite being out of position. If he ever is, I mean, we don't really want to push into these Colossi, into shield batteries, into overcharge. It's a scary thought. It's terrifying, Poppy. It's terrifying. We've got a long one on our hands. 4th base on the way for Cognite. 4th base on the way for tavo. Yo, let's go. Stark contrast as to what PiLiPiLi and Disrespect were doing earlier. And once again, I do think that tavo, he doesn't really want to commit to anything. He's just vying for map control. Cleaning up whatever he can, picking up zealots here and there, pylons as well. He just killed a... Oh. tavo, he just killed one of his own marauders. Ay, ay, ay. And he's committing as well. He's trying to sneak up on this 4th base, but Cognite's in position, because why wouldn't he be? The Zealots saw the army coming ahead of time. Oh, there is no overcharge available, bear that in mind. The Nexus isn't done yet. At the same time, a Zealot runway is going to be hitting that 3rd base. We have reinforcements, we have the repair on the bunker. Vikings are going to be able to, no, just barely not take down the Colossus. tavo, he just runs into a brick wall, and Cognite is holding. Holding quite well as he pushes on forward. There's just not enough to support these tanks. The tanks will go down one after the other. Again, this was an ill-advised push. The full medevac goes down as well. tavo, he loses everything. This is disastrous. What did he really get for this? He got Zealots and Stalkers. He didn't touch any of the high-tech units of his opponents, and now he's triggering Cognite to go for a counterattack. tavo, what does he have left at home? We've got Ghosts. Oh, we have a Zealot run, but we've got 6 Ghosts, a couple of Marauders, 0 tanks. Oh boy. Cognite, he's just, yeah, racing his way across the map. There's not much to stop him. We do have a good amount of ghosts, don't get me wrong. But mate, we got disruptors for those ghosts. Zealots are split up, heading towards the third base. Nova's going to be going off as well, and the majority of the ghosts do go down. We take the Novas to the face. Zealots are showing up as well, and there's just too much Protoss. Tavo, he fought well. Big fan of Tavo. Much love, but alas, this series he wasn't able to hold up here to Cognite. And Cognite, again, he also had a really rough night today. He had a really hard time against PiLiPiLi, a hard time against Disrespect, but he's breaking into the natural, and he's going to be taking his first series. There's nothing left here for the Terran. We have SCVs, we have a couple of Marauders, and nothing else. GG gets called. Cognite takes the series 2-1. GG. And now we have confirmation. We have our 3rd and 4th place players here in this group. Just quickly just updating the scores. And there we have it. As we switch our scenes over, we have one series left. Cognite takes down tavo 2-1. That means that tavo was unable to take a series here. Again, I mentioned this earlier. It's a shame. It's a shame that tavo wasn't able to play against Disrespect. It would have been a great TVT. But last, tavo is unable to take a series, and he will be coming out last in Group D. Meanwhile, Cognite redeems himself. We saw him struggle a lot against PiLiPiLi and Disrespect. If you remember, I was lamenting with him. My heart was bleeding for Cognite because every single game he was like trying to get into the mid game. He was trying to get a third base up and running, get a third base saturated, and both PiLiPiLi and Disrespect were denying him time and time again. They were just hyper aggressive and shutting down Cognite at every turn. He was finally able to spread his wings against tavo, and we saw that, hey, you know, if he's able to amass an army, get into his Colossus counts, get into his disruptors, he can definitely take it here to the best of them. As a result, he was able to redeem himself towards the end of the night, but now we still have to figure out who comes out in first place, who comes out in second. Both Disrespect and PiLiPiLi, they will make it out of the group. They are top 2, so regardless of what happens, they're going to be making it into Group Stage 2, into the next round of the tournament. But seeding is pretty important. Seeding is pretty damn important. So we'll see who comes out on top. We'll see how fast the series is. I'm looking forward to it. Again, both these players have been like hyper aggressive so far, and I wonder if things are gonna mellow out at the end and they're gonna like cancel each other out and they're gonna force each other to play macro, or if things get really wild and really chaotic and the series ends in like 10 minutes. I want it. I'm looking forward to it, Papi. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Our final series of the night. Our final PVT. Cognite, more like Pognite. Icetan. Hello, Icetan. Hello, Frost. Oh. Let's go. As we are loading into our final series of the night, the final best of 3 of Group D of the NA Apprentice Season 2 of 2023. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressfarm, we have the American Terran player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Disrespect. Not a doctor. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss representing Genesis Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi. Here we go. Now, we've seen them both excel in this matchup. PiLiPiLi was able to take down tavo earlier. Disrespect was able to take down Cognite as well. But again, both players were hyper aggressive, either 1-base or 2-base all-ins all around. Proxies left and right. But we'll see how they clash here. We'll see how the favorites in this group do clash and how this unfolds, as Disrespect is already going for an aggressive opener. He's going for a double gas opener here. Is going to be delaying his CC. and getting into a much faster factory. And PiLiPiLi is going to scout this. He slips into the main. He's going to be a little bit annoying and also confirm the gas count of his opponent. So PiLiPiLi is going to be aware that he has to be a little bit more defensive, has to be a little bit more wary of what his opponent is up to, as he doesn't go into the main. Never mind. Never mind. So PiLiPiLi doesn't actually get confirmation, which is a little bit concerning. So he's a little bit in the dark. Is going to be backing off with that probe though, and in a couple of seconds he should be dipping back in to see if there's a CC, and once he gets confirmation that there's nothing on the low ground, then he's going to recognize what's going on. Oh, this factory is on the way. Speaking of that probe, the Reaper is looking to hunt it down to try and deny that scanning information, and there we go. The Reaper does come across the probe. It will be hunted down. As a result, Pili is going to be in the dark. So not a bad start here by Disrespect. Oh, let's go. As it's going to be a one base all in, it isn't just a double gas opener into a faster factory. He throws down 2 more Raxes behind this. Let's go, Poppy. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're all here for some NA StarCraft. Ah, pure, unadulterated NA StarCraft. Give it to us, Poppy. Give it to us. And this is going to get interesting. We're actually making Hellions initially as well, so we're going to be looking to be aggressive early on with Hellions and Reapers for some map control, for some scouting as well. Oh, and we'll see what we have in store for us behind this. As Tech Lab is on the way, I imagine, for tank production. Back at home, PiLiPiLi is just setting up defensively. We have a shield battery at the natural, shield battery in the main. Because he doesn't know what Disrespect is up to, he's just being as safe as possible. Making sure he's ready for maybe a drop into the main. As a Hellion is revealed and does get forced back. PiLiPiLi goes for a Stargate opener as well into a very fast Robo. Again, really good stuff here out of Pili. With that Robo, he's going to have access to a much faster Immortal. And even detection. So even though... Oh, wait. What? No shot. Is that... What's happening? Okay, there we go. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that's intentional. For a moment, he had a second Robo, and I was freaking out. Internally, I didn't know what to say. But it was a mistake, and he does cancel it. Thank God. I was about to lose my mind. 2 more gateways are thrown down instead. This makes a lot more sense. Thankfully, we're not too crazy here. Oh boy. I don't think I've ever seen a double Robo opener off of 2 bases. I'll be honest. That would have been a first. That would have been a first for me. As Disrespect is moving out across the map, I imagine he's going to be pulling the boys as well. Again, just very all in here. And PiLiPiLi doesn't know. Oh, he's taking a third. Oh, Pili, he's misreading the situation. Like, he was playing safe earlier, which made plenty of sense, but now he's being a little bit too greedy. He hasn't gone for a follow-up scout. He doesn't know what's happening. There's no sentry, there's no hallucination, we have an observer on the way. Pili, he assumes that there's at least a natural base, and I don't blame him. Like, 1 base all-ins are pretty rare. But that's what we're getting. Because it's NA. Oh boy. Oh, will we have enough at home to defend? That's the question. We have 6 Stalkers, Blink on the horizon. Observers moving out. Will it catch the army? The answer is no. It doesn't see anything. No Marines, no tanks, no SCVs. And PiLiPiLi, he's being caught with his pants down. He had no idea what was happening. Disrespect, he shows up. Can he still... Can Pili somehow muster up a defense, though? Zealots go down instantly. That is an Archosis pylon. We have an overcharge, but it is not enough. Shield battery gets depowered. The Robo gets depowered. And the tanks siege up, and they just... Yeah, they force a cancel. They're going to be taking control of the 3rd base and the natural. PiLiPiLi has to give it up. The tanks slowly leapfrogging forward. Oh, we blink on forward. Oh, this was not the best move. GG gets called, and Disrespect will take game number 1. Oh, just, yeah, taking advantage of how in the dark PiLiPiLi was. PiLiPiLi had no idea what was happening and was just so underprepared. And that's game 1. Let's go. GG. GG, well played. Oh, Disrespect doing a great job at just denying vision, denying scouting, sniping that probe initially, and just ensuring that nothing made its way across the map. To be fair, PiLiPiLi was also taking a risk by not warping in a sentry and going for a hallucinated scout, which is definitely possible. It's an option that he could have had. But I can't blame him, right? Because like, what are the chances? What are the odds that your opponent is going for a one base all in, right? Like, again, they're not very common at all. GG, well played. We're gonna be getting into game number 2. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. All right, what kind of all in are we seeing this time? Nano, is that you? True. Feels Nano, man. I miss him. Nano, of course, the Brazilian Protoss player. Great guy, great guy. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have his opponents. We have the American Terran player representing Apprentice Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is Disrespect. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss representing Genesis Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi. The old walk in and kill him. This is a build that's been going on since release. I'm glad to still see. Yes, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Not gonna lie. I mean, especially when they don't see you walking in. That's really the clinch there. You know, that's the X factor. They don't see you walking in, then it's over, Bobby. It's over. As we are loading into Dragon Scales for the first time tonight, one of the smaller maps in the map pool, the rush distance is quite short, so aggression is something that we may see here. I wouldn't be surprised if Disrespect even goes for something like a 3 racks. For the time being, though, only 1 gas has been taken, and PiLiPiLi this time, is he actually going to check the gases? It's going to be disrupting the economy, and he won't need to. He will, though. If you remember, this is something that PiLiPiLi didn't do last game. Last game, he didn't check the gases of Disrespect. This time he does. He wants to make sure he knows what's going on, and Disrespect should be setting up a CC on the low ground. There we go. There we go. It is a standard economic opener. He racks into CC. You love to see it. Meanwhile, across the map, Disrespect also going for an SCV scout as well, just making sure that PiLiPiLi has a natural, which is fair. It isn't like Disrespect is the cheesiest player in this group, because PiLiPiLi has also been doing 1 base all-ins and 2 base all-ins as well tonight, so it makes sense that Disrespect would scout and make sure that PiLiPiLi was, you know, playing standard, or at least opening standard. So both players will check each other, and there's that second racks on the way. So this is looking like a 3 racks opener. There we go. And this can hit quite hard. This can snowball out of control if it goes unscattered. This is ideal against a Stargate opener, but PiLiPiLi is going for a Twilight Council opener, not a Stargate. So he will have access to Blink Stalkers. He will be able to go toe-to-toe with this build. As you can imagine, if the Protoss player were going for a Stargate into Phoenixes, Phoenixes are not really what you want when you're facing off against an army of Marines as they barrel down your natural base. So again, Blink Stalkers are more ideal. With this, PiLiPiLi can be active on the map, and he can slow down the Marines as they push out across the map. You know, picking off Marines, Marauders whenever he can, and just slowing down the push and eventually just shutting it down. So, yeah, we'll see how this does play out. This is assuming it's at least a 3-gate opener. If PiLiPiLi goes for a 2-gate opener into a 3rd base, then he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. But I do think he intends to throw down additional gateways, and there we go. We have our 2nd gate thrown down, and we should be seeing a 3rd as well. There it is. We're okay. It's not being too greedy, not being too economic. And what's interesting to me is that Disrespect, he's like playing so blind. Like, he SCV scouted earlier, but he skipped his Reaper, which means he actually doesn't know what PiLiPiLi is up to. He doesn't know if it's a Stargate opener or not. So very bold move here out of Disrespect. He is mixing in a couple of Marauders, which will help against those Stalkers. Back at home, it is that going to be that 3-gate Blink Stalker opener. With this, we can be pretty aggressive. We can also expand behind it. This isn't all in by any means from PiLiPiLi. Just a great way to gain map control and get into the mid game. And soon PiLiPiLi should be moving out on the map. As I say that, Disrespect is the first to move out instead. Now, can he break the defenses here of Pili? I don't know if he really can. He's only got 2 Marauders with his army. Oh, the Observer moves out, and the Observer this time is going to confirm what's moving out across the map. The Marines and the Marauders have been spotted, and PiLiPiLi can instantly start chipping away at them. Now, the problem is that ideally you do this across the map. You know, as soon as Disrespect moves out and he goes for the sim, he dives into the natural base. He's going to try to focus on whatever he can, but alas, the overcharge does force him back. He gets 1 Stalker. Up, up. Only 1. And with this, we have high ground vision as well. PiLiPiLi, oh, the control loses a 2nd Stalker, but for the most part, he has been able to stem the tide and shut this down. And now he's free to expand. Oof. Very well done here. Very solid defense out of Pili. Shout out to Disrespect though. He didn't overextend. You can see that he lost a handful of Marines and 1 Marauder. But this could have been worse. He could have lost everything. He could have absolutely lost everything if he committed into the natural. So he at least preserves some of his army. And he can focus on a follow-up push with medevacs, with +1, with better upgrades. Like, with that move out, I'm sure he would have loved to have dealt a little bit more damage, but, you know, it's not the worst case scenario for him. Meanwhile, back at home, PiLiPiLi gets away with a faster Robotic Spay. We're already getting into Colossi. And this is looking pretty scary for the Terran player. Once we get up to 2 Colossi, these bio-based pushes, like this early on, they're going to have a hard time finding any damage. Colossus really do a great job at shutting them down. There's a reason why Phoenix Colossus is so popular, for example. But we shall see as additional ranks are thrown down as well. We do have a 3rd CC behind this, so Disrespect isn't going all in or anything like that. Is working towards his 3rd, is looking towards a later game. But as it gets into the later game, it does feel like PiLiPiLi is in a better position overall. There's not too much scouting though. The Observer just got sniped. The second one is about to replace it, but there are no spotter pylons, there's no spotter zealots or stalkers. This move out is going by completely unscouted here by PiLiPiLi. But his army's in position, thankfully. He's got a Colossus, he's got sentries for force fields, he does react in time, and the army sims forward, but we have that overcharge. Disrespect, he can't really commit, he has to back up, he has to respect the army. These Stalkers blink on forward, once again exposing themselves. PiLiPiLi, a really bold move. He's going to be losing all of his Stalkers as a result. He does push back the army, but that was a costly trade. Losing 9 of those Stalkers. I mean, he does clean up the Marines and Marauders, I guess, but yeah, that was a questionable blink, not gonna lie. It's not the first time. He did it against tavo as well, remember? Like, he was very trigger happy with his aggressive blinks, and they almost cost him the game, or a couple of games against tavo. Well, he's gotta be careful. He needs to respect the Marauders, papi. Ay ay ay. Like, it's not like Disrespect is like running away and then the army blinks to like chase him down. No, it's just out of nowhere, just bam. Just like Pili just jumps on him in the middle of a fight. It's crazy. It's crazy. But here we go. We're just moving on forward now. After we clean up that army, we're going for our own counterattack. We are up to 3 Colossi. We have a Prism to reinforce. We also have a Prism to save and preserve those Colossi as well. Oh, as we're going to be going for a bit of a drop into the main base. Disrespect barely does catch it. Does see it with that Marine. Should hopefully be reacting with his army. And there we go. The Vikings are on the way. Well, Prism does go down, not without dropping a couple of Zealots, but I'm sure this isn't what PiLiPiLi really wanted. He's gonna push on forward anyway. Bold move once again from Pili. Oh, the EMPs are looking good. The Archon goes down instantly. The boys are being pulled. And Disrespect, he's diving on top of the Colossi. There's not enough to protect them. And Pili's gonna lose everything. The Stalkers go down, the Zealots as well, and this push was ill-advised. I'm shocked that he committed to it. Every Colossus goes down. I'm mainly shocked because the Prism harassing the main, it failed, right? Like, usually, if we get into the main, if we get a warp in, it forces Disrespect to pull back some of his army, and it weakens his defenses here at the third. But with the Prism dying, that typically is the sign for the Protoss to back off. That's usually the sign to back off and respect the defensive position of the Terran player. But Pili, he went for it anyway, and yeah, he lost everything. Oh boy, and now suddenly Disrespect is in the driver's seat. Suddenly, he has the army advantage. Prism moves out across the map, but does get spotted here by that mine. We're working on disruptors as we speak. We don't have any Stalkers remaining. We have 5 being warped in, just to try to support whatever we have. Disrespect isn't moving out yet. He's still just mustering up, rebuilding, getting ready for that push. Unfortunately, Disrespect has been pumping out Vikings this entire time. He continues to make Vikings, and there's no Colossi, unfortunately. So it's a little bit of dead supply. But regardless, he still has a pretty big advantage. And here we go. He's pushing on forward. It's going to be all about the EMPs. He needs to connect on these Archons and the Zealots as well. Here we go. The mines that do set up. Oh, get the Nova! Oh, massive Nova goes up on those Marauders, but it looks like we're breaking on through anyway. It looks like we barely are not. There is enough Protoss as PiLiPiLi pushes this back. Yeah, the Vikings weren't able to do too much. There's now a Colossus, but the Vikings already did go down as we load up and drop into the main. We're gonna be able to pick off a couple units here. The Colossus is exposed. The Viking. It's gonna go down to 1 Stalker. Colossus lives. Drop does get forced back, but we have more reinforcements. Disrespect. He wants that Colossus so badly. He's not gonna get it. At least he shouldn't get it. There he goes. PiLiPiLi is able to consolidate his forces and does hold on to his 4th base. Again, that fight was just a little bit too chaotic from Disrespect. There was a lot going on, a lot he was trying to do. Goes for a scan, at least confirms that there is no 5th. But with that, suddenly PiLiPiLi is in a better position. Like, that was a better fight for him overall. Disrespect, he threw away a lot for not much, to be honest. And now this is still anyone's game. Pili has a base lead. He's able to preserve some of his high-tech units. He's building up that Colossus count once again. But Pili, he still needs a little bit more time to recover. There we go. We have a scan. Disrespect, he wants the fight. The shield battery isn't done yet. There is no overcharge. Liberator sieges and Disrespect, yeah, he's looking to bully his way forward, looking to try and at least kill this base. Oh, it does take a big Nova to the face, though. He wants the 4th, and yeah, he's going to get it. PiLiPiLi, he cannot stop this army. He's going to try to. Overcharge is going to be popped. The Colossus, the missed rally. Colossus goes down for free. And that may just be too much. At the same time, there is a Zealot run by across the map. SCVs are falling. Another massive Nova connects. Supplies are evening up, but PiLiPiLi has to give up this base. And that makes this push worth it for Disrespect. Zealots across the map still haven't been cleaned up, unfortunately. There's 2 Zealots, they're doing a lot, I'll be honest. Doing a lot for Pili. As Disrespect, he tries to push on forward even further. Another Nova goes up. A decent split towards the end. Zealots are still alive, by the way. Still getting damage done, and yeah, Disrespect, he unsieges, he backs off. Oh, but Pili, he's going for the double Prism harass. Let's go. Medevacs are being caught out in the middle of the map. 1, 2, 3. Two medevacs go down. Disrespect leaving his army a little bit idle. Suddenly he can't actually top up his units. Every stim is gonna hurt him that much more. Another Zealot Robber here at the 4th base. PiLiPiLi causing a lot of chaos. Oh no! Oh my god, another massive Nova. Is that gonna be enough? We don't have an EMP. And without an EMP, the Archons push through. PiLiPiLi taking a massive fight. He cleans up the mineral line. He's gonna get the base as well. Disrespect, he was in such a commanding position. He was winning this game. He was doing so well, but a couple too many mistakes too quickly. And PiLiPiLi, yeah, he pulled it off. GG gets called. He ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. Oh my god. GG. Give this man 1 Disruptor, 1 Colossus, and a Dream. And 2 Prisms, to be fair. And yeah, he was able to bring it back in the end. Really good Purification Novas towards the end. Medevacs were being caught out. The Zealots were doing so much harassing across the map. Really crippling, hindering the economy of Disrespect. And yeah, at the finish line, Disrespect, he kind of fumbled a little bit. He tripped over. He wasn't able to close it out. And now we have the ace match. We have game number 3. Let's go. Let's go, Poppy. Ignore my ignorance. I don't know Disrespect. Oh, if you are unfamiliar with the NA scene, Disrespect, he's been around for a couple of years. Say a couple of years. A long time. He's been around for a long time. But again, he's mainly only prevalent in the regional events. Speaking of regionals, like the qualifiers for ESL Masters or NA Apprentice, for example, the spicy team leagues in the past, Psystorm Cups. I think he has gone to some offline events like Psystorm or the Psystorm Cups or Cheeseadelphia, for example. Very NA focused, very NA focused. But here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the American Terran player. Oh, he's cheesing. Let's go. The American Terran player representing Apprentice Esports, looking damn good in that last game, but wasn't able to close it out. Looking to go for some proxy Raxes. We have Disrespect. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss representing Genesis Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi. Clawing his way back in that last game, forcing the ace match. He's going for a probe scout, and he should recognize, hold up, where's your Rax? Where is your barracks? It's not at home. Where'd you put it? Now, the scary thing about TVP is that just because the Rax is missing, it could be hidden in the main, it could be in the natural, could be in the third. It is very common for Terran players to play some mind games and to throw down their Raxes on their side of the map just to throw their opponent for a loop. But it's Disrespect, so he's going to be recognizing that it's going to be a committed proxy. This isn't Reaper, by the way. Wait, what? Proxy Marine? Then what's the gas for? Okay. Okay. Cool. I guess mind games? I guess the gas is just to throw off your opponents. Bunker is on the way, but a Zealot was chronoed out. Again, PiLiPiLi, he knew that something was wrong. The Zealot does come out to help defend, and this bunker should not finish. Oh, there we go. We do force a cancel. Because it's a proxy Marine, it does mean that there's only one avenue of attack. We can't, if it was Reapers, we could dive into the main, but alas, that is not the case. That Zealot is taking a lot of hits there. A second SCV does show up as well, but it looks like PiLiPiLi is taking control of his natural. The first Zealot does go down, but both SCVs fall. That bunker will not finish. The Marines are getting a little bit out of hand. Second Zealot goes down. The shield battery is not going to be able to finish, or it shouldn't be able to live too much longer either, but we have a Stalker. Stalker does outrange these Marines. It can bully them back. Shield battery goes down at the same time across the map. That one probe got an SCV kill. Let's go. But can Disrespect snowball out of control? He's trying to force his way up the ramp. We don't have any kind of warp gates. Second Stalker is still on the way. Can we somehow pull this off? I don't think so. As boys are being pulled, and we only have 2 Marines remaining here. And now we have a second Stalker. Like, PiLiPiLi, he is holding. Oof. Yeah, back at home, we have a factory on the way. Disrespect, he's trying to transition. He's trying to get out of this. But it's so difficult to pull off. Another SCV go. We even brought a 3rd SCV across the map. Ay, ay, ay. Fortunately, this proxy has failed. We're lifting up. We're floating back home. This is the float of shame. We weren't. It was meant to be a one-way trip. Feels bad, man. Yo, he's got the Total Biscuit decals. The top hat. Let's go. I haven't noticed that before. That's really cool. Shout out to Old Mate TV. As the Raxes are being chased down, there was a probe in the main base of Disrespect earlier, so PiLiPiLi, he knows his opponent is transitioning. He knows that Disrespect isn't doubling down. Oh boy, he at least has a Cyclone defensively, which will help, but this is not looking good for Old Mate Disrespect, not gonna lie. Oh, it does get a free Stalker, to be fair. But 3 more Stalkers arrive. Lock on his own cooldown. Oh, Cyclone goes down. GG gets called, and PiLiPiLi will take the series 2-1, coming out in first place in Group D. GG. Oh, but that was not an easy series. Let's be real. Disrespect was looking damn good in game 2. Like, he was ahead. He had a lead. He had an advantage. He had multiple advantages. But PiLiPiLi, in a move of desperation, he was just so chaotic. He had Zealot run-bys hitting the 3rd, hitting the 4th base. In game 2, like, he was able to thrive in the chaos and pull himself back. And here in game 3, a bit of an interesting proxy. 2-Rax Proxy Marine isn't really a thing in TVP. It's a very unique build. It doesn't happen too often. Usually it's Reapers or Marauders. It's one or the other. And yeah, Disrespect, he was trying to sell a story. That's why he got the gas at home as well. He was trying to throw PiLiPiLi off his scent. But PiLiPiLi was playing it out safe. You know, he made a Zealot. He pulled the boys. He saw the bunker ahead of time because of the low ground pylon. Very nicely handled there by PiLiPiLi. Cool, calm, and collected. Completely shut it down, and yeah, he's going to be coming out in first place here. And Disrespect will be taking a respectful second place. Second place, Bobby. Let's go. So again, if you're a fan of either of these players, we will be seeing much more of them in the coming weeks in the next round of NA Apprentice, as we can switch our scenes over and have a look at the group. Of course, it was a round-robin group stage, and yeah, we had a lot of chaotic games. It was a lot of fun. It was very intense, very high octane. We did settle down a little bit. Cognite versus Tavo was a lot more of a mellow, drawn out macro TVP. But every other series was very intense, very quick, very aggressive from a lot of these players. And it was a lot of fun to cast, a lot of fun to watch. Oh boy, again, unfortunately, we did have a walkover for the TVT. I would have loved to have seen Tavo versus Disrespect, but alas, did not occur. And both Disrespect and PiLiPiLi will be advancing on into the next round. For those wondering, when it comes to some of these other big names in the NA scene, players like Disc, Vindicta, Future, Uko, I was thinking of another, Trigger as well, that's it, Trigger. They are all waiting in the next round. So this is group stage 1. It's more of not an open bracket, but you know, a lot of the lesser players are here in group stage 1 working their way through. Group stage 2 is where the big names, the big dogs have been seeded into that stage directly, and we're going to be casting them next week. Next week, Poppy. As we are wrapping up group stage 1. I think is it all wrapped up? Let me just double check. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the Wikipedia page yourself, so you can see all the invited players and you can see all the results. It looks like tomorrow in 12 hours, Group F, the final group of Group Stage 1, is going to be taking place over on Renegade X's channel, Renegade X Studios. We won't be casting it. We only casted 2 groups in this group stage. The other groups are covered by other community casters out there. It's Chicken Man and Renegade, so shout out to the two of them that have been covering all the other groups. And Group F is going to be Maples, Hope, Ricci, and Casimir. Oh, cool. We've actually been casting quite a bit of Casimir recently, so best of luck to Casimir and Ricci as well. We're a little bit biased. We go way back with Ricci, and I wish them the best, but that is going to be a pretty tough group to get out of. And just to double check who was invited and who was seeded in. So the invited players were, or the seeded players are Disc, Trigger, Future Vindicta, Dolan, and Uko. Oh, Papi Dolan, let's go. The Dolan Duck himself, the ex-CranKy Duckling. So yeah, a lot of players are lying in wait, and yeah, we're going to be able to feature them next week. So if you enjoyed this broadcast, if you enjoyed this tournament, if you enjoyed the players, if you're interested in supporting some more NA StarCraft, then yeah, follow the channel. Follow us. We're going to be casting at some point next week. I don't think we're going to be casting all the groups. I think just like Group Stage 1, we're probably going to split up the groups amongst the casters, and we'll cover maybe one group each, and we'll figure out what else happens from there. And the groups haven't been finalized yet because Group Stage 1 hasn't finished yet, so we don't really know how the groups are going to shape up, but we'll keep you guys posted. Keep an eye on Twitter, on social media, to be updated with how that does play out. Again, this is NA Apprentice. It's GSL, but for the land of the Americas. So yeah, a lot of love, a lot of support for some of these smaller regions. Love to see it. God damn it. As a massive shout out to Babylings in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for the support. I was just about to raid you. Fun fact, I was just about to raid you because we just finished. We just finished the broadcast. We just wrapped up with our final game, with our final series. For those that are just tuning in, I highly recommend checking out the VODs because we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun games. It was wild. it was crazy, but it was crazy. A lot of proxies, a lot of cheese, a lot of 1-base all-ins, and even 2-base all-ins. So we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun tonight. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Oh boy. If you want to tune into more of the CranKy Ducklings, we're going to be live tomorrow. We have 2 broadcasts tomorrow. In less than 24 hours, we have KSL. So for some Korean StarCraft, we got you covered with the Korean StarCraft League. It's going to be at 1 p.m. AEST. And then in the evening, late at night, we're going to be casting OSC King of the Hill. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've casted OSC King of the Hill. And the reason for that is because we're kind of like the B casters. Whatever Wardy isn't available, then that's when we get to cast OSC King of the Hill. And I'm pretty sure Wardy is traveling to Home Story Cup. So because Wardy is traveling, that means we get to cast again. we get to cast OSC King of the Hill again. Let's go. So that is going to be tomorrow night in just over 24 hours. I think in 26 hours. Oh, so there you go. That is going to be coming out tomorrow. So yeah, again, if you want to support us, then consider following the channel. Otherwise, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We have all the social medias, and check out the VODs on YouTube as well if you're interested. We also have a Patreon. If you want to support us monetarily, we do actually fund a lot of our own events. We fund Sparkling Tuna Cup, the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, and Grand Platypus Open. A lot of smaller regional events. If you want to support us, Patreon is the place to do it. Our goal to fully fund our events is 300 USD a month, and we're almost halfway there. We're getting there. We're getting there. And once we do reach that goal, we're going to be looking to try and grow our events and turn them into weekly tournaments and make them more consistent, and hopefully provide more prize pool and more prize money for some of these other tournaments. Trying a bit. Chat got rowdy. But yeah, again, thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for the support. If you also, a special announcement, PSA, Home Story Cup. When is Home Story Cup? It's in like an hour. Home Story Cup is now. Oh my god. Home Story Cup is starting now. So we're going to be giving them a raid. We're going to be giving them as much support as we can. Be sure to tune in as much as possible. Home Story Cup is going to be a 3-day event. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're interested in some European StarCraft, they got you covered. I believe there's 1 NA player, which is Trigger, who got invited, and 2 Koreans, which is Solar and Gumiho. So unfortunately, not too much international representation, which is a bit of a shame. Like, my favorite thing about these these premier events or these major events is seeing like the different regions clash. You know, I love seeing like the Europeans against the Koreans against the North Americans. Alas, we're getting a little bit less of that this time, but regardless, it's still going to be an amazing event. It's still going to be a great tournament, so be sure to check it out. Be sure to support it as best you can. The other big thing, GSL. We're casting the GSL qualifiers on Sunday. If you're interested, if you want to bear witness to the players qualifying for GSL this season, we're going to be casting it, a replay cast on Sunday. The GSL qualifiers are never broadcasted live. They've just never done that, but they have released the replays to their patrons. There's a Patreon for GSL, so we do have our hands on the replays. We'll be casting them over the weekend just in time for the next season of GSL. So if you're interested, we got you covered as well. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Stick around. We're going to be raiding Take TV for some of that Home Story Cup action, or maybe another stream. Is Take live? Yeah, they're live. They are live. So yeah. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support, and we will see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Bye.